Welcome everyone to today's stream. Welcome, Yusuf. Welcome. I'm doing good. How are you today? Let me set up some things and then I will also show you the game. Because today is finally the day. We have push coming out back again. So if you don't know, this is the new game mode in PvP that they are beta testing right now. And it will come out, I think, in 1.5 hours, as far as I know. So until then, I will play some other game modes and then I will try out some new push. Welcome, Filthy, welcome. How are you doing today? So and so? Okay. That's, I guess, better than bad, but obviously not perfect. So there we go. So like promised, I want to do some strike missions and then we go into some push. And yeah, I hope I don't have to suffer too much to actually get some push games that are worth talking about and also making maybe a push tier list. So that's my goal here. But let's see how it goes. First, we want to do some strike missions because push is not out yet. It should be out in, I don't know, 1.5 hours typically. That's when it starts. So let's hope so. Maybe we have to do a group on our own. Nothing happening here. Too bad. I guess I also wanted to do the daily quest thing. I never did that. Where is it? Here in the map. Where is it? There it is. Because I want to get the achievements done and I don't have the daily achievement yet completed, I think, all of them. And I really think that when we get the legendary backpack that will come out, I think in... Yeah, it's only 14 days when it will come out. It's actually quite crazy that we, or quite possible, I would say, that we actually need a lot of those shards that we get from daily quest here. So I really want to at least get some of them. Or they call it something with shard, probably. Yeah. I already have 200. I think we need at least 250. So I want to gather some more. But yeah, it doesn't feel that great to do the map over and over and over again. I found interesting channel on YouTube. Yeah, let me know which one. Yeah. Oh, it seems quite slow today there. Trading posts and stuff. So let's do a few events here and then we do some strikes, I guess. As always, if you have any questions, if you're a new player, veteran, whatever, let me know. I'm always very happy to answer and to debate stuff as well. So don't be shy, don't hesitate. And if you have anything that you want to debate, want my opinion on, it's also very appreciated if you have some topics like that. Because as you might know, on my YouTube channel, I have now done a lot of debate videos and they are actually, I think, quite a nice thing to have, not only having build guides all the time, but also just having some nice conversations about the game with the community. I really liked it. Guy's a biology scientist and he discussed changes made by viruses and parasites in some horror science fiction games and movies like Resident Evil. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting topic. I have some interest in that as well. Yeah, it sounds cool. Sounds cool. Yeah, your PvP tier list coming in clutch with this new event. Yeah, I think, to be honest, Remo, I try the event when it comes out, you know, when it starts in 1.5 hours, and I really want to grind a bit in the games and stuff and see how I would think the general builds perform. So sometimes you have changes in terms of the ranked builds that you would usually see in Conquest ranked in other game modes. So I think for best example would be Stronghold. Yes, nobody plays that, but there is a different meta, so to say. And this is the same, I would say, or might probably be the case for Push as well. And I want to make sure that I either make a new tier list for Push as well, or if the ranked tier list still holds true. That's what I want, what my goal is. I'm not sure if I can push enough today, sorry for the pun here, in the rank today. Maybe I have to do it tomorrow and do the tier list then. And I really want to try out some different builds as well, because obviously, like you just mentioned, Push is different. And there might be some builds that are really good that you normally wouldn't be able to do. Yeah. So I personally was thinking about support warrior. So support spellbreaker or something like that with just a lot of healing output. That could be good. Also a lot of CC output as well, because CC is very nasty in a team fight. If you can lock down a target, this target will die, and then you have an outnumbered situation, and that can be some kind of snowball. That's something that you typically don't really need in a Conquest match, where it's way more about rotations. So let's see. I really don't know what we can actually make work. Hi Chris, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna unleash the taboo build in PvP because I wanna see what I can do. Yeah, I think some builds that you normally wouldn't use at all in Conquest could be really good when you play Push, and especially if you want to really annoy the enemies or just try some different builds and have some different builds that you would normally not play just for fun. I really think that can be really cool. I just hope that the community doesn't split too much, and that's the good part about this event, because we don't have a Conquest ranked in this season. So that means that we can just play with everyone else that plays ranked right now. So I think it's a really good time to start PvPing or get into PvP if you're just in for the PvP rewards. That's a really good time, because we have to rush the PvP rush event right now. So that's really good. And for me as a content creator, I actually get matches quite fast. At least that's what I hope, so that we actually can get a lot of content, and not only, let's say, waiting time, queue time discussions, but also content that we can then discuss in tier list and stuff. So that's my hope there. Welcome, Wolf. Welcome, welcome. Can you recommend an Elementalist build for 99-98 CM, or is it just don't play Elidia? So I personally would say Elementalist, the best Elementalist build for 99-98 CM is Weaver. I'm not joking, it's Weaver. I think Weaver is extremely strong, really underrated by the community. You play full DPS Weaver. That's, in my opinion, the best build, because you can play very aggressively and you actually have a lot of DPS. Yes, it's a Condi fight or some kind of ranged boss fight, but you actually have a lot of very good builds there that can work even from range. And if you really wanted to, you can also play Catalyst. The Catalyst is highly underrated because you can actually apply boons from range as well, and that helps a lot. Oh, come on. It despawned just in time. That's so mean. Now I'm dead. Yeah, so that's my take there. I think Elementus is really underrated how good it is actually in the ranged Condi fights as well. Yeah. Yeah, Condi Weaver has a little problem with CC, but yeah, I mean, it's not like, especially in 99, it's not like you really need CC. It's really, especially if I play Chronomancer support, I actually can solo CC in 98 as well. So it depends a bit on your support. What can they do? What do they know about the fight? But typically, I would say, if you know well enough that your support can deal with it, then you will be quite happy playing Weaver there, I would say. Yeah. Maybe you can make a video about the push game mod explaining it. Yes, that's my plan. I want to at least get out 1 or 2 videos about push while the week of push is actually going, because that will help people actually getting into push. And I also want to draw some attention to push, because I feel like they try a lot to push the game mode in a direction where it might replace or at least be some kind of permanent really good game mode, and I really want to get as many people trying it out and giving their feedback to them so that we actually have a very just nice community that stands behind the game mode, and not only a few people that are interested in it. And then when it comes out, then a lot of people say, oh, it's boring, it's really bad. So I think it's better to have a lot of people trying it and being the beta testers there. Yeah, exactly. So I would say pistol would probably be the choice if you can play it. If you don't really like the pistol playstyle, that's for me the case, then Scepter can also be fine, yes. But I would say, personally, pistol would be the most optimal choice in DPS, yes. Which is, in my opinion, a big problem. That's why I don't play it, because I really dislike the pistol. I think pistol on Elementalist in general feels really clunky. I don't like the playstyle. I think it's one of the worst weapons they added to the game after the core game, and I really hope they rework it. I think that's might be a hot take, but I feel like it's one of the newest weapons that I would say needs a complete rework. I think every single skill is not very good in how I like to use it and how it feels on Elementalist, so I really hope they rework it. What is the team size in push? The team size in push is the normal 5-person team. Oh, come on. Yeah, 5-person. So it's completely the same as Conquest, just that you lose 2 nodes, so to say, and it's more like some kind of capture the flag style of event, which is, I would say, somewhat easier to get into for a new player, which is the biggest strength of push. However, you can also make the argument, I heard that from veterans as well, that it might be easier to get into in general because it's only 1 node, but at the same time, you always have 5 versus 5. It's not like a duel where you can see which skill killed you. It's more like there are so many skills happening all the time that the visual clutter might be harder to actually get to understand what actually killed you. I think both arguments are fine, makes sense in my opinion. We will see how it turns out, if new players actually like it or not. I personally like to play it because it's something new, it's something different that we don't have every day. But that's obviously just a view from someone that played the game for way too long. No, there was really, in the very old days when Guild Wars 2 came out, and PvP was much more alive, we had actually 10 versus 10 matches, but those were really, I don't know. It was really hard to actually see anything happening, even in the core game back then, because it was just too much stuff that was going on the screen to make a very crazy fair fight. It was like World versus World with a PvP setting, and it's fun for some moments, but it's not really leads to a lot of skilled gameplay. Maybe they bring it back at some point and make some adjustments to it, but it was not the case, and that's why we have the 5 versus 5, and it's, I think, quite a good sweet spot there. Yeah. What are the PvP rush rewards? I can show you. So the bonus event is already up, so you can actually play everything. You don't have to actually participate in the push event, and you get, as always, a lot of Shard of Glories, you get some PvP League tickets, you get coffee off Ascended Charts. This is really good if you go for the legendary stuff in the PvP or Ascended stuff in the PvP lobby. You get 1 full reward track, or I think it's actually two full reward tracks that you get here from the instant reward track progress. You get a permanent finisher choice box. So I would say, and you get an obsidian thing. So I think that's one of the best rush events they do. It's because it's actually giving you rewards that are actually useful for a player. I think that's why even I, as a PvP player that has almost everything, participates in those events very, very actively, because you actually get something. And I think that should be the case for every single event that they push out, and not something that you say, wow, it gives me, I don't know, 5 silver if I complete the event. Wow, that's crazy. So I think they are actually really worthwhile, especially if you're a new player, or if you want to go for some legendary of the PvP stuff. It's actually really, really good. And if you just have everything in PvP, even then it gives you some really nice gold. Yeah. Now, do I play my Reaper or my Guardian? I would say I can't give you a final statement on that. I want to try every single class in PvP and push and give you a nice tier list after a while. That's my goal for the next few days, to make a tier list about push. But I think you should go for the one that you actually enjoy the most. And I personally think both will be very good, actually. I think Reaper will be, Condi Reaper is a very good team fighter, so I think that's a really good pick. Or I'm pretty sure this is at least A or S tier in my tier list right now. And Guardian, yeah, Guardian, I'm not completely sure. Maybe you can cook up some crazy Firebrand. That could work as a support. But I personally think Willbender might be just the straight up best option for the most part. Maybe, I don't know. Is it okay to run dagger pistol offense swap for solo and group open world PV? I don't want to make 2 scepters or daggers. So it depends, of course, on what build you are talking about. Oh, on Spectre that is. Okay. So yes, on Spectre that actually is very close to meta. So yes, that's actually completely fine. But I would say the thing is, Spectre with a dagger pistol setting is typically, yes, if you enjoy Spectre, go for it. But I would say Spectre is one of the worst element. Why do I only have... So Spectre is not really made for a power build. Typically Spectre is played Condi. So, oh, I only have 19 of those. No. Now I have enough. Yeah, so I would say go for it. But I personally would say better play Daredevil or even Deadeye with dagger pistol. It's more suited for that. And of course, not very good point by Chris there. Of course, you also get the Magic Find buff from the push event. You get more reward track bonus and you get more just experience as well. Or PvP loot, so to say. Yeah, it's really good. I would say definitely worth checking out if you're not completely against PvP. I mean, if you don't... It's really important, Sochi, play the thing that you enjoy the most, because that's what you actually like, you know, that you actually play something that is fun to you. You shouldn't play something just because someone told you this is the best build. It might be that some builds that you enjoy are not that good and then you don't have enough fun. That might be true. But for the most part, especially in push, when a lot of people are playing, you can play any build. And it might not win you matches all the time, but at least you have fun. Yeah. Firebrand support is pretty good right now. People are sleeping out. Yeah, I think Demolish, I saw you playing it. I think, did you or who? Someone played it in the 2v2 as well. And I think Firebrand support, they buffed it a lot. And thanks for confirming it as someone that actually won monthly ATs. So I would say Firebrand is, in my opinion, it's hard to play. It's not an easy support because you have so many buttons and so many choices to make, which buttons to press. But I think if you can perform on it, especially in some big team fights, you have crazy output. Yeah. Scepter dagger, scepter pistol. Yeah, I think that's okay, but for the most part, I would think the problem is if you play 5 versus 5 as a Spectre with scepter only and don't have a sword, then you miss a lot of the just general sustain that you get and the nice evades and the county cleanses. So that's my take there. But if you think that works better for you, go for it. But I personally think one aggressive set and one, so to say, more supportive or more dodgy set that also has unblockable damage is a little better. And I think the problem is Scepter Dagger is a little bit worse because it's reflectable, the 3 skill. So especially in a 5 versus 5 where there might be some projectile denial, it's actually not that easy to hit with it. Yeah. Welcome, Kim. I'm good. No, sorry, I will not give an infusion away. If I drop one, we will, of course, give it away, but currently I never dropped the big infusion, so that's just how it goes, I guess. Strength Hammer, Spellbreaker underrated. I think Hammer Spellbreaker is very good right now. I think Hammer Spellbreaker is actually so good that you can play it in every single game mode, because it's actually, I would say, a build that is just perfectly, you know, suited for each other. Yeah. So I don't know. Let me quickly write this party what I want to play. I guess quick DPS. So Hammer has a lot of CC. Spellbreaker has a lot of CC. Spellbreaker has a lot of traits that interact with CC. So in general, it's perfectly, you know, it's a perfect fit. So yes, it works very well, especially after the Hammer buffs. Yeah, I like to play it a lot. Trying to get into Guild Wars 2, I only have the free edition right now, but there's so much in this game. Yeah, I think that's the cool part about Guild Wars 2, especially when it comes to actually the general game, especially if you start out with the free version, you have a lot of stuff to explore. So it's like a free trial, I would say. It's not free to play in that sense, because you have some heavy restrictions. But the interesting part is actually you have amazing, and that I'm not joking, you have amazing view of what you can actually get of the game. So if you enjoy what you see in the free-to-play version, play as long as you want. And at some point, you will get to the point where you say, I want to try out some new class, I want to go for some new content, and then you buy the expansion. Especially when they are on sale, they're actually not that expensive, and then you have a crazy amount of content, even more than before. It's really good. Do you play Condi Circ? I play it, but I think it's not the right time to play it in push. I think Condi Circle in push is... I think all the duelists are, in my opinion, losing a little bit in value in push, because we're obviously team fighting almost all the time, and Condi Circle is just a very good duelist, or decent duelist right now, and it will not, in my opinion, I can give it a try in some matches, but I feel like I would probably be better off playing a different build. Yeah. I need your knowledge and help. I'm trying to make a DPS scrapper shortbow for PvP. Any thoughts? I mean, we have Demolish in the chat, so maybe Demolish can help there, because Demolish actually is a very good engineer player. But in general, I would say you just play something really aggressive and use the range of your shortbow. I think shortbow in general is a weapon that I would see, especially in push, as a actually very good choice for engineer, which will probably make it an interesting pick and on all specs on engineer, because it's actually really good to have a lot of cleave and some support backed into the kit. It depends a bit what you want to play. You can play some alchemy, some prot scrapper, so to say, with some nice support for your team, or you play some really aggressive scrapper with a nade kit, maybe with some mortar kit and stuff like that, and you keep your range and just spam AoEs on the point and try to kill the enemies, maybe use some gyros and some super speed to actually kite. I think that might work very well as well. I will try out some stuff like that. I think the important part is, especially when it comes to push, just play the stuff that you enjoy and you think it might work, and try out different stuff, because that's the most fun that you can have. That always happens after a big balance patch, when a new game mode comes out like that. It's a lot of people just try different stuff, and it's not always about winning, it's more about having fun, which should always be the case, but it seems like at the end of a season it's not really the case. So now we have the best chance to actually try out different builds, have some fun, try some new stuff. Do you think Bunker would be better in push? I want to see PvP make a comeback. So I personally think that might be a hot take, but it depends a bit on the how is it called? There is some debuff, yeah? And the debuff that we get when you actually stand too long on the point will deny some part of resustain. And if this debuff, I don't know if they changed it. That wasn't in the blog post. So maybe they changed it, how much it is. Maybe they didn't. We will see. And I will explicitly try it out on a support, if how much it actually matters and stuff. And if it actually is not as high as we would like to have it, then Bunker might be a very valid choice. Just going for 2 supports with 2 bunkers on there, maybe 3 bunkers, and just bunker it down. Could be. But I feel like they are aware of the issue that bunkering is not fun for anyone involved, or for, let's say, almost anyone. That means that it's quite unlikely that they will actually leave it in a way that is completely bunker friendly. Yeah. So I don't know. I agree, engineers too squishy, or at least it's not perfectly fitted for meta gameplay right now. I think engineer needs a lot of buffs. That's what I also want to bring up in an upcoming video slide teaser, where I talk about balancing Guild Wars 2. I think engineer is in a bad spot in competitive modes, especially in PvP, but only PvP actually. But that is definitely something that I hope will change, and maybe push can help, because the team fighting with Scrapper, for example, or Shortbow is actually, I would say, decent. I think engineer has decent team fight capabilities, or at least AoE capabilities, so maybe that works. But I feel like engineer is definitely not one of my top picks for carrying push right now. Yeah, definitely. DPS Scrapper can work if you check last 2v2. Yeah, Sukaya played it. The question was, is it really a DPS Scrapper that Sukaya played? It seemed like I watched it and I really wanted to understand the build, but this build was really, it was like some kind of hybrid DPS, like a lot of support baked into the kit as well. So I think it's actually a really cool design. I'm not sure if it's actually a pick that I would use in push as well, because you might be somewhat squishy anyway. And you can get focused because you will fight against 5 people, but maybe you're right, Demolish. I will give it a try for sure. I think you should keep these videos up, general gameplay, and talk about different games, PvP over. It's very good when I see you actually doing certain things versus talking about them. Yeah, I mean, every single stream that I have, I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube, if you don't know. So there might be some comments that you can't read on Twitch because I'm not allowed to show my YouTube chat. But if you don't know, every stream that I stream is saved on YouTube. On Twitch, it's saved for a few days, but on YouTube, every single stream is saved forever. So you can watch all of my VODs there. So even if you are missing a stream, if you want to see some bad gameplay of mine, you can watch it. You can rewatch it whenever you want. Yeah. Welcome, Arthur. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I think Scrapper works very well with shortbow. I personally think Spear is a thing for core engineer or for Holosmith, maybe. If you play... Nah, I don't know. I think Spear is a very aggressive weapon, and I think the shortbow, the range that you have with it, is actually really, really well suited for some kind of playstyle like a Scrapper. I think it fits very well on there. Even if you want to go for some kind of support variant as well, I think Scrapper is made for that. Yeah. Honestly, 8 bunker builds, it makes the game way easier to play. I mean, is that a bad thing if the game is easier to play? Because I personally feel like if the game is easier to get into, it's perfect, because the game is hard to master anyway. So if you have a mix of being easy to get into, hard to master, that's what I want personally. But maybe it's just me, yeah. I'm a big Holo advocate, so I just go Holo if you want to go DPS Engie. Yeah, I would probably agree. I think Holosmith is higher on the skill ceiling than Scrapper. But if you can make it work, I feel like the DPS output is also higher. That's my take as a somewhat limited engineer and enjoyer. It's one of the classes that I didn't play them that much. You know, I only have, I don't know, I don't want to lie, 500 hours on it or something. But still. Yeah. I see core scrapper sometimes. Oh, you mean probably core engineer? I think core engineer is actually very underrated because the core train license engineer are actually very decent. I think it's one of the best core classes to play in PvP. For that much is for sure, I would say. But I would personally say Holosmith is better if you want DPS, and Scrapper is probably better if you want to bunker it down. Yeah. I think he meant more like mistakes don't matter half as much and it's not easier to play. Yeah, I would agree on that. I think that's the problem that I definitely see as well, as someone that likes to have some kind of skilled gameplay, that if you have just a bunker against you and you play a decent build and you fight them and you hit every single skill and they just resustain after that because they don't dodge your hard-hitting attacks and they just can resustain after that. It feels like you don't get punished for being bad at the game, so to say. I can see that one, definitely. But I would still advocate for having a meta that is not too fast-paced for new players to actually understand why they died. Especially in push, I really want to see that the gameplay is not too one-shot heavy, because then new players, yes, the game mode might be a little bit dumbed down in comparison to Conquest, but if you still can get one-shot by every single DPS build, I feel like a new player will not understand the game mode, or especially if you're in a 5 versus 5, it's very unlikely that the new player will understand, why did I die here? And that will not help him improve or them improve. That's my take on it. So I think they really have to find a sweet spot between having builds that are not bunkery, but are also not completely one-shot potential. If that makes sense. I hope I explained that clear enough to actually, reason here. Yeah. Welcome, Final One. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing fine as well. Playing some strike missions, and after that we're trying push when it comes out. I tried now almost all classes and ended up with Warrior. It seems nice to vibe. I mean, I think Warrior is very fun. I think Warrior is one of the classes that I would personally say is the least, let's say, flexible one in all game modes, which is in my opinion, a big bummer, because I personally think Warrior has the biggest potential to be very flexible because it has the most weapons. But if you enjoy it, perfect. You should always go for the thing that you enjoy the most. I personally just want to play classes and specs that are very flexible, where I can play different things and fill different roles, especially in PvE. And that's sadly with Warrior not really the case, which is obviously not for someone like me, not perfect then. But I still like to play Warrior, of course. Nerf all damage in PvP by 30%. I mean, I think something like that will only make bunker builds more viable. I think really the balance team there has to think about it a little bit more than just saying nerfing damage, because then you will have bunker builds only. You will have supports and bunker builds. That's it. Or maybe you don't even have supports, you just have 5 bunker builds. So I feel like that's not something that you want. Yes, the damage should get nerfed, but it should not be some kind of flat 10%. I think that's not how you would engage with it personally. I mean, I don't balance the game. Maybe for the better, maybe sadly, I don't know. But it's definitely a problem, yeah. I love flexible classes. When the situation in the match changes, you can easily adapt. Yeah, I think it's not only in PvP that I like to play flexible classes, but especially, of course, in PvE when I play support or something, I really want to have different choices and not always play DPS, Unga Bunga Warrior, because that's how it feels like right now. Don't get me wrong, there are some builds that can be played in PvE, but it feels like you are very niche down. Yeah. Yeah, I think, Filthy, that's a big point that I want to make for new players. Losing a match should not always be the thing that keeps you, let's say, thinking about the match, because if you lost, that's too bad, that happens. But if you understand why you lost, it's way more important. So what I want to say here is, if you have top stats, like top healing, top damage, why did that happen? Typically because you went maybe in a 1-on-1 and the 1-on-1 took forever, so 10 minutes or something. That's why you have a lot of damage and healing. Or if you played some kind of DPS build, maybe you killed everyone and didn't die, then your DPS actually matters. But if you're on a 1-on-1 forever, then it's not that important. But if you are in some kind of team fight and you carry the team fight by just having a lot of DPS and not dying over 10 minutes straight in a team fight, and you just have a lot of damage there, then I think that matters a lot. But you always have to understand, top stats are not winning you the game. So sometimes you carry the game by not having any top stats, just by not dying, which is not a top stat, or by just being at the right node at the right time. Obviously in push that will not be the case, but still, yeah, that's what I always want to really make clear here, that for a new player, just because you have top stats doesn't mean you played very well in the match. It doesn't mean that you played bad, don't get me wrong. Maybe you played really well and have a lot of top stats, but it's not like doesn't mean that you played very well just because you have top damage. Could be because your teammates are really bad, or could be because you were in an unending 1-on-1. Hope I made that clear. So for example, top player kills is a little bit more impactful because that means probably that you were involved in a lot of fights. Yeah. And that you actually succeeded in. So am I? Yes, that's good. So let's see. I had really bad experiences with groups at Bone Skinner in the last few days. I don't know why. I think people are just getting worse, or I just have bad luck with people. But I think this one is actually looking quite fine. That's good. Now VCC. Yes, we did get it. Very good. That's why you take MOA signets, just to make sure that your party actually gets the CC down. We dodge. Good. Looks clean. I mean, until now, when everyone dies. Definitely, it's very unrealistic to think you will win every match. Obviously, that's not how you should approach PvP. You should always approach PvP with a mindset of saying, I want to get better. What did I do wrong in the last match? Even if I won, even if I lost, always look at what you did wrong so that you can understand, okay, this is what I have to improve on next time. This is the important part here. So losing shouldn't crush your drive. Just think about what could have been better. Exactly, and make adjustments. That's a very good statement. I agree. First game on Taboo, so I played like trash. I mean, where's my healer? Do you think bunker builds is just an inevitable problem of Guild Wars 2 with all classes? Can all play all roles? I feel like bunker builds are a problem because in Guild Wars 2, because the gameplay, the combat itself is quite hard to understand perfectly. Yeah. And people would rather win the match by not dying because they are not punished for their mistakes. And that's why people engage with bunker builds way more in Guild Wars 2 than in other games. Because in Guild Wars 2, you get punished very hard if you play an aggressive build and play wrong. Or you die to some attack and stuff. So that's why I think Guild Wars 2 has bunker builds very easily just in the meta or in the people's mindset, because they always think, oh, I don't want to die. I would rather play a bunker build than a bursty build and die all the time. But you are obviously correct that a lot of builds can play some healer or have some healing kit, and you can easily make some kind of really obnoxious bunker build out of that because they have some inherent support in the class design as well. Definitely good point, yeah. Yeah. I'm about to start Guild Wars 2. Does Guild Wars 2 playable with high ping? Yes, you can play it with 200 to 300 ping, of course, but be aware that especially if you play classes that have a lot of instant cast like Mesmer and Thief, in competitive modes you might get a little bit, you know, I don't know, bonked on because you actually can't evade the attacks or hit your skills when you really want to. But especially in PvE, it's not a big deal. You will learn about when to use your attacks and maybe just play more actively or more proactively so that you can push your buttons because you know the attack will happen and stuff. It will actually work out very well. I know people for a fact that are really, really good at the game that play with high ping and don't have a problem at all. So don't worry about it. Yeah. And some builds do so much damage and melt you. Yeah. I think if the problem I played earlier when I started playing Guild Wars 2, I had a really bad internet connection. And for me, it was like, if I played PvE, it was fine for the most part. It's just horrible in PvE if you have spikes. I think that's in general in gaming, if you have big spikes from, let's say, 100 to 500, then your ping just from 1 second to the next, that's a big problem. But in PvE, if you have consistent 200 to 300 ping, it might be annoying, but it might not change too much of your gameplay. But in PvP, I would say, that could definitely make a difference, especially if you want to go try hard and want to really carry your matches and go for high leagues rating and stuff. Yeah. If you lose, go to Lone and get your turret free because there's the normal combination. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I've been playing Staff Mirage, so good, decent damage, great boons, can't beat it. Yeah, Staff is really good in PvE. Brand new player here, your videos have been a massive help. Thank you. I'm still quite overwhelmed, however. Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, don't be shy. I'm always happy to answer, especially in my streams. If you have anything that is worth debating or getting an answer to, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer. Yeah. What's a good and easy to play Alacrity heal for strikes and fractals? I would say the easiest there is probably Scourge. Play Scourge, heal Scourge. It's really easy to play. It's really, I don't know. It's not the absolute best for try-hard groups, but it's a very good pick, especially if you want to learn healer. It's probably the easiest healer, yeah. You could also check out my Alacrity Willbender build. That is a healer. It's very easy, just pressing 1 button or 2 buttons and you will be fine. So I have it on my YouTube channel. You can just look for Willbender and you find it there. Or you can also check in the description of my video here. I have a link to my spreadsheet where I have every single build guide that I have on my YouTube channel listed in some kind of spreadsheet, and you can easily see which kind of build you actually look for. So if you go for a Guardian build, check the Guardian page of the spreadsheet out, and you will find it there very easily because it's sorted and has the description of the build in it. So you can check that out as well. I have multiple Alacrity healing builds, but the one that I wanted to talk to you is obviously the Alacrity heal Willbender. That is very easy. How do you avoid getting burnt out? I only play PvP and my favorite build getting nerfed kills my motivation to play. I know I could play other content, but I only like PvP, might just take a break. Yeah, I think that's a big problem. I think if you only play one game mode, especially game modes that don't get a lot of updates, all of them, is a problem. Yes, but how I don't get burnt out from the game is 2 things. First of all, I have obviously my content creation. I like to make videos for you, stream for you, have fun with you, obviously. But if you don't have that, then yes, that's a problem, obviously. Then the second point, what I did before I started with my content creation, is I play all the classes. I always swap classes around, try out new builds, have fun with that. that helps a lot, even if I stayed in the same game mode. Yes, that's my comment here. But obviously you have to enjoy that as well, because if you only play the game because you enjoy Guardian so much, then of course that's not gonna help you in this regard. But I personally like to try out different builds, and that's obviously helping a lot with the variety, and then I stick around for way longer than it's probably healthy for me, but still, yeah. And the important part here is also, like the Monash mentions, you just can quit the game and come back if you want to. You can just stay away. I think that's very important. Guild Wars 2 doesn't punish you at all for just quitting and coming back, especially if you play PvP. There is nothing that actually matters. You can come back 5 years and can still win the next monthly AT if you train hard enough. It's definitely not a big problem. So if you don't find it fun anymore and engaging, just quit for a while, maybe quit forever, and come back whenever you feel like it's actually urging you to. Yeah, have fun, Soxy, have fun. Mirage kills me more than it kills enemies. Yeah, Mirage in PvP is definitely one of the hardest specs. I think Mirage in general is one of the hardest specs to play in all game modes, especially in PvP. It's a really good build in the hands of a capable player, but I think 95% of the Mirage players actually think they are good, but they are not, and they die very easily and can't deal enough damage. That's just a fact, I would say. Yeah. I'm a Condi Willbender, and I got used to think I'm getting to Alacrity Heal will be easier than changing class. Yeah, I mean, Alacrity Willbender is actually really good. Be sure to check it out. Yeah, the guide is, I really put a lot of effort in it, and it's actually really fun to play as well. I actually was surprised how well it works. Yeah. Welcome, Emily. Welcome. I quit for 8 years and came back to more content without feeling like I was left behind on others. Exactly. That's the good part about Guild Wars 2. It's not only true for PvP and World vs. World, but it's also true obviously for PvE, because we don't have a new level cap. We don't get new highest gear stats. We can just, after years that you didn't play the game, you can come back to it and you will have the highest gear possible. Especially if you have Ascended and Legend gear already for a character like I have, then you can easily just play for 2 years and then stop playing, and the next 2 years you don't play Guild Wars 2 and come back and you have the perfect gear already. It's really nice. You can play every single bit of new content perfectly as if you didn't quit at all. Yeah. That was what I had to learn. I used to stick to one class, but then it was no longer viable. I was a fish out of the water. Yeah, I think the important part is, especially if you want to play PvP and want to get better at it, I think sticking to one class is obviously, you will be very the one-trick pony and it will be fine. You can play very well, but typically you get faster, better if you try out different classes, and in my opinion it's also more fun because you will actually experience the game in a completely different perspective, and in my opinion that's something that makes the game a lot more fun to play as well. Welcome Sixot, welcome. I'm doing good, I hope you're doing fine as well. Took a couple of weeks break from Guild Wars 2 back to unlock hero points for my Revenant and try out the Power Vindicator. Yeah, this one is really fun. I was surprised how fun it was when I was doing the research for the Vindicator build. It is really fun. I don't know why. It's just dodging on the enemy feels like it feels really good. I agree. It's not the easiest build, and I would say it's also not the most crazy carry build in terms of how easy it is to perform on and stuff in harder fights, but I personally would say it's a build that is very worthwhile getting into because the DPS output is 45k or something if you play it really, really well. And I don't know, it feels really rewarding. I like it a lot. And Mirage plays very differently than the rest of the class and classes. So coming back to it is a learning curve yeah, definitely. And Mirage is something I would say that is still mesmery, but it's definitely completely different because you have so much, you have to learn when to use your ambushes correctly without actually taking damage, but still using it aggressively, not wasting dodges on stuff that you might otherwise need for defensive as well. It's a really different playstyle, and if you master it, you will be rewarded for it in all game modes, but it's in my opinion way harder than it looks. So if you look and watch someone play it that is actually really good at it, it looks really, really cool and really fun to play. But if you play it for the first time, it looks completely different, and you will probably don't deal DPS, and you will also be quite dead a lot of the times. Yeah. Yeah, Power Vindicator and PvE is really good. I like it a lot. It's fun, definitely. I always wanted to be good at Mesmer, but I'm just bad at it. I mean, what I can tell you is Mesmer is a class that is very flexible and is also very, I would say, not for everyone, but if you enjoy the class design, it's definitely, especially nowadays where Mesmer is really good in all game modes, really, really good, then you should just stick to it and learn it, because I think just playing it for longer will help you improve at it. And especially if you are already, which you are doing, watching other people stream, just talking about it and watch content that is helping you get better at the class, you will learn it in no time. Just stick to it. That's the important part. Don't give up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Chris, yes, I have one eye on my stream and one eye on my gameplay, which is obviously easy for me in terms of gameplay that I play every single day, and in a class and a build that I play quite comfortably. But if you will see it later when we play push, I can't do that all the time, because there I have to concentrate a little bit more, hopefully, when the matches are somewhat close. So I can't really, let's say, watch every single message that is written in chat when it pops up. But I think it's just practice. You know, if you play the game for as many hours as I have played it, then you will probably also be that good while talking about stuff. It's not, and I'm not even playing that well. I'm just playing decently well enough to actually make it work, to not upset my team here. I always just fall back to Staff Mirage, Condi, because it's easy. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously very easy in PvE to play Staff Mirage, but even in PvE, it's not the best build. And especially if you play some kind of crazy hardcore X Mirage in PvE, it's actually one of the best. I'm not joking. It has the highest benchmark in PvE, Mirage. Mirage is therefore the best build, if you want to say that. It's the best build in terms of DPS right now. But it's only 5 people that actually can reach that number in PvE. It's really hard, especially in real fights. Not only on the Golem, but in real fights, it's really hard to reach that number, because it's just very different to every other class, not only Mesmer, but every other class as well. So typically, I would say, if you enjoy Staff Mirage, stick to it, because going for another Mirage variant will probably decrease your fun, at least in the beginning, by quite a lot, because it's not easy to learn. That much is for sure. And if you enjoy a build, why swap? I think that's the most important part. If you currently don't burn out with the build and you enjoy the build, stick to it. That's true for every single game mode. I really want to stress that. For me, I currently enjoy Mesmer in PvE, and I mostly play it and play other classes, of course, as well, especially for content videos and stuff. But if I just want to have fun, want to talk to you, then I probably play a lot of classes that I enjoy the most. Typically, right now it's Mesmer, but it's also, right now I was trying out some different builds, for example, Elementalist as well. But yeah, stick to the class that you enjoy. That's the important part here. I want to play Mesmer in PvP though. Mesmer in PvP is really good. It has a lot of builds that actually work decently well. It got nerfed quite a lot in the last few months, so it might not be the absolute best class anymore, but it's still very worthwhile. You have Support Chronomancer, you have a Spear Mirage that is actually decently well doing, and what else do you have? Even Power Virtuoso is actually okay. It might not be the best pick, especially in push, but maybe it's actually not that bad. It depends a bit on the team comp, but I would say Mesmer is doing in PvP a very good job to actually stay alive and not be completely irrelevant. So maybe just give it a try and have fun and improve at it. Like I said, always just try to improve and stick to it. That will help. I hated Mirage on my PvP team yesterday, and when the entire team died, they were just managed to kill and stump outnumbered. I have to give them respect. Yeah, like I said, I think if you play very well on a Mirage, you can carry matches, but a lot of the times, a lot of people are just not very good at the class, and they die a lot because it's very squishy, and then you will not have enough damage. But if you're very good at it, you can really make crazy good plays. We have some players in the EU that actually are really good on Mirage as well, but there are not that many people in PvP that actually play it very well, I would say. Guild Wars 2's class fantasies are so wild, so unconventional. Figuring out all of these fantasies, engaging with them, and experiencing them is truly one of the best long-term quests in this game for me. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think if you're a new player, it's not only about trying out different flavors of the game, but it's also experiencing how Guild Wars 2's take on a mage is, how Guild Wars 2's take on a warrior is, because that doesn't mean that's actually the most, let's say, conventional take. For example, the best example is of course Mesmer, because it's a class that doesn't exist in a lot of other games. And Mesmer is really weird when it comes to how the weapon usage is, because we have a greatsword and use it as a ranged weapon. We have a Revenant that uses a hammer as a ranged weapon. So it's actually, I definitely agree. The Guild Wars 2 is very unconventional, and that's fun. That makes it fun for sure. So we're almost done with the strike missions, but we still need a few. Yes, it's not out yet. Unlucky. Maybe we have to play some PvP before that already to get some warming up going on. Let's see. I think, is that the last one? I think that might be the last one. We have the COO as well. Yeah, but that is always, if you have any questions, please let me know. What you gonna play and push? So I mentioned it earlier, Javi. I want to try out very different builds. I don't want to stick to the same build because I want to make a tier list. Maybe we have some tryhard PvPers with me later and we can make a tier list already. But I want to try out different stuff and just see how it fares against one another. So because push is a new game mode, I don't really know which meta is currently there. So we have to try it out. But I want to try definitely Staff Tempest. I see it as a very good pick. I see Condition Reaper as a very good pick. Maybe even Spear Harbinger is a good pick, maybe, but I think it might be a little bit too squishy. Willbender could be still a good pick. I think Scrapper with Shortbow is a really funny cook. Maybe I can play that as well. Definitely a lot of builds on my radar that I want to try out. I want to try out Firebrand for sure, see if the healing is actually good. And I want to try out some support Spellbreakers. So my list is quite long, as you can see. Just seeing what's actually on my list makes me quite nervous that I can actually play them all. But let's see, if the batches and the queue times are quite short, we can actually play a lot of different stuff. What's your favorite spec or class if you had to pick one, just hypothetically? If I had to pick one class that I would have to play all the time, from a class fantasy, just from the fantasy perspective, I would probably pick Mirage. But from a balancing perspective right now, I would for sure play Chronomancer. Chronomancer is so broken, what it actually can do in all game modes. That would be the class that I would play. But from a fantasy perspective, I actually really enjoy Mirage. I think Mirage is, in my opinion, the most interesting designed elite spec. It is very unnatural or very unhealthy for a lot of game modes because it's very hard to balance, to actually understand when to dodge and that stuff, and making dodges, so to say, not really matter, so you can dodge attacks while you cast other stuff. That is very, I don't know, it feels like it's a pick that you would not do in a balanced team if you really cared about balance to make something like that. But I would say this is just from a class fantasy, I really enjoy it. It's something new, it feels really skillful, and I mean, I don't know, that would be my pick, Mirage or Chronomancer if it were only for the just current balance and how I enjoy the builds that are currently coming with it. Yeah. The classes are so different in how they feel and function. No two classes feel the same, and so much you can do with them. Yeah, exactly. I think that's also why I make so many build guides, because every time I play a different class, I feel like, ooh, maybe I can try out this build. Maybe I can make a different class or character and stuff and try out another one. It's really fun. There's so much different stuff that you actually can do in the game without actually going completely crazy and going a completely different game mode. You can stay in the same game mode and try out completely different builds. That's the crazy part. Yeah. Even within a profession, I've probably played a dozens different Reapers. Yeah, exactly. I think there are some professions that are a little bit, let's say, broader, and some professions that are not that broad. That much is for sure. So I would say Chronomancer is a very good example. You can play a Condi DPS Chronomancer, you can play a Power DPS Chronomancer, you can play offensive support Chronomancer, you can play defensive support Chronomancer. There are so many options. If you look at, for example, I don't know, what's a good example? Maybe, I don't know, maybe Dragon Hunter. Dragon Hunter feels like it's a power DPS build, and that's about it. But that there are a lot. I would say the majority of classes actually has a lot of different builds in all game modes that can be played. There are some like Daredevil, like Dragon Hunter, that are a little bit, the niche is very clear defined, but I think that's okay. Not everything has to be absolutely crazy in flexibility. That's my take, but I'm also not a Dragon Hunter main that wants to play as a healer as a Dragon Hunter. So maybe I'm a little bit, too objective on that, but I personally think it's definitely okay. Yeah. So let's, oh no. My inventory is full of hatched chilies. Oh no. Then we have to clean it up, I guess. Like Unload Deadeye. I do love it and I want to play it. I think Unload Deadeye is it's a very fun build. I would typically not say I'm a player that actually enjoys playing builds that don't have any buttons that I need to press all the time. But obviously I played it for my guide and it's actually really, I was really surprised how fun it is just pressing one button over and over again. It's actually a really, really good build. Yeah, I agree. Dragon Hunter was at some point, or is still, a decent bunker in PvP, but I feel like it's still, even if you consider that a different build to a power DPS Dragon Hunter, it's still like DPS Dragon Hunter is the more common choice, and even there you have a DPS, power DPS. It's not, you can't play a Condi DPS Dragon Hunter. Yes, you can cook up something that might work, but to be honest, it will not be very successful typically. So I feel like, yes, you're right, you can play some kind of bunker variant, but I don't know. It's not perfectly suited for different builds. Unload Deadeye, nice for chill open world or easy quickness and regular fractals. Exactly, it's a really easy build if you just want to have some fun and don't really care about having the top DPS. And it's just very relaxing, very laid back gameplay, which is very nice to actually just have fun. So here it is, Greater Call of the Mist, what I wanted to show you. Earn increased rewards in PvP during community events, plus 15% PvP rank rewards points. So that means that you level up faster, so you get more level up rewards faster, which is obviously a good thing, more gold, so to say. Then plus 25% reward track progress, obviously more gold, you get your reward track faster, and then you have 200% magic find. That's obviously not that insane, but you can actually open your reward track chests and you will get more loot, or not more loot, but you will get more expensive loot on average. And that means that you obviously get also more gold out of it. So in general, really good time to actually go into PvP and play PvP right now, not only push, but of course also with the bonus event that is currently going on, with the player versus player rush, you actually have crazy amount of rewards as well. So stuff that is really, really good here is obviously the Ascended Shards of Glory if you want to go for the Legendary and the League tickets, but you get even more reward track, you get permanent finishers, and you get even an Obsidian weapon choice. So if you are a skin collector, you can go for that one. So definitely a good time to actually play PvP, even if you normally wouldn't. And there might be a lot of new players around as well. So don't worry about being new to PvP. There is a lot of new player-friendly stuff going on as well. So we have still half an hour left before push comes out. I guess we will play some World vs. World then. I can't choose my main. Yeah, this is obviously I think the thing is, if you're a new player, so I don't know if you started the game or if you played the game already for a while. I think for a new player, I would say play a class that you enjoy the class fantasy, level it to level 80 if you have fun with it. And after that, you can try out new stuff. But I would not swap around every 10 levels, because then you will never reach the end game. Or very slowly. But if you are already at the end game, so to say, you are level 80, you have Ascended Gear or something, then play all the classes, have fun, try out different things. I think that's very important. That's the only way to actually keep you playing if you burned out from the game already. So that might be a hot take, but I think if you play multiple classes, the likelihood of just quitting the game, especially if you're a PvE player, it's way lower than if you would play only one class. I wish the dungeon rush had better rewards. Yeah, I think not only the dungeon rush, I actually think all the events should have better rewards. I think the only one that is actually worth doing is the PvP one. I think the PvP one for me... Oh, we have someone that actually wants to kill me here. Oh, the unblockable CC. That was nasty. Nice, good damage. Let's see if we can kill them. The Deadeye actually has no damage on me. It's actually insane. Why does the Deadeye no damage? Can I catch this? Probably not. Yeah, PvP rush is obviously really good. Not only does it help with burnout, but it makes you better at PvP as well. Yeah, definitely. I think it helps you a lot to just improve seeing different classes and having fun with them. Will help you improve getting better at anything as well. Yeah, definitely good point. My main is usually the profession that I saw mentioned in YouTube before I came in game. So if I saw a Vindicator build, I play Vindicator that day. It's a crazy life. I mean, that sounds like a good thing. You swap around builds all the time. World vs. World Rush is good for Gift of Battle. Yes, that's correct. I think that's the only other thing that is really good is at the Rush events, you get those buffs that help you get more rewards there or get the experience level higher and stuff. So that's true. That's a good point. But I was talking about the specific rewards. So from the event itself, I feel like those are not that great. So I think the buff itself is probably the best one regarding the other events, to be honest. Yeah. Was Thief main originally, but once I made Willbender, DH became my main and Willbender. That sounds good. Whenever I'm struggling, I always end up back on my Willbender. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if it's fun to you, you should play this stuff. Yeah. I'm kind of new. What's the best way getting ascended weapons beside Wizard's World? I have a whole guide about how getting ascended gear on my YouTube channel. You can check that one out if you want the details. But in short, you can play in PvE a lot of content like strike missions, fractals, even raids. All of those give you ascended gear and you don't have to have ascended to start out with. Fractals are a little bit harder if you don't have ascended gear, but still, you can actually get ascended gear there as well. But I would recommend doing Iceblood Saga strike missions. This is probably the best way to actually get that. And of course, you can also go for crafting, but I think crafting is very expensive. You should not do that typically. And the best way, actually, what I want to mention here is Wizard's Walls will reset in 2 weeks. So getting the Ascended stuff now will give you double the amount of Ascended stuff, so to say, in 2 weeks again. So it's a really good time to actually get the Ascended stuff from the Wizard's World because you will actually get more in 2 weeks again. Yeah. I know this may be common sense, but think it would be good to share some common ethic tips when in PvP, like the unspoken general rule of thumb. Like you did in your Who to Target video. Yeah, I can try to tell you what kind of stuff I'm thinking or what I would imagine is the most important things for a new player to understand PvP in. But of course, it's for me as a veteran, it might be way harder to actually understand what is the thing that people don't know about the game mode, because for me, I know it already. So always, if you don't know any specific thing or whatever that is currently happening or just comes to your mind, always ask, because then I can explain it. Sometimes I don't know, it's not clear, and then I can't explain it, of course. So I will try to actually tell you about the unspoken rules, of course, but sometimes I don't remember that it's an unspoken rule and I'm still, following the etiquette, so to say. It's an expensive playstyle to keep 27 tunes ready to play. Balance patches are very stressful. Times for me. I get that, yeah. I mean, for me, it's the same. I play a lot of different builds and I want to keep them up to date as well. So yes, I can feel that, yeah, for sure. What to do when people get carried on Old Line Squad and don't do mechanics? That's a good question. I don't know if anyone has an answer for that. That's why I don't typically do Old Line Squad with pucks, because it's horrible. Sometimes you have pucks that don't know anything about the fight and it's really bad. So I don't know. I really don't know. If you're a friendly player, you could explain it. If you don't want to explain it, then I guess you should try and just find a different group. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have any tips there, El Charlatan. And I have no legendary armor trinkets, only 3 legendary weapons. Ooh, that's obviously then way more painful than for me, because I just say, oh, I have to swap the rune now. Let's swap the rune. And having different gear and stuff, obviously. I think Ascended gear is very nice, but the convenience that you get from legendary, especially if you play multiple game modes and multiple characters, it's actually crazy good. I think that's really fun that we have that in the game. That legendary is really convenient for players that want to engage hardcore or somewhat, like, let's say, play very broad in the game, but it's not really helping someone that is just gonna come into the game. It's not really helping you to improve with your gear. You can have Ascended gear in a few days, and legendary gear doesn't help you anything there. So I think it's a really good balance, personally. Yeah, I think I would definitely say, Gale, maybe it's a worthwhile investment to actually get the Ascended gear and to the bank and say, okay, we will now go to legendary armor and legendary trinkets and stuff, so that it's easier for you to balance. I think that would be a worthwhile investment, like Chris points out. I would agree. What's the way to get legendary accessories? I feel like that's the most expensive, annoying part, having to farm berries and bloodstone. So what would I say here? So legendary accessories, you have Aurora and you have Vision. Those two are both PvE things that you need achievements for. They are somewhat expensive, but that's true for almost every legendary. But in my opinion, if you enjoy doing the achievements that you need for the meta achievements, so I can show you, you need the meta achievements of the maps from the corresponding things. So you would need, for example, where is it? Those meta achievements here, like these ones, where you have to go in the map and maybe in corner, maybe in domain of Istan, you have to do the meta achievements and unlock this. But you can also skip some of it if you play PvP, because you actually need, for the real collection, you need actually the skin that you unlock with this one, and you can get the skin from PvP as well. It's a little bit weird, but still. So overall, I think if you know the tricks, you actually get the legendary trinkets quite fast. But they have some kind of time gate in there, especially Aurora, which is obviously a little bit annoying. But if you want to get them, I think it's actually not too annoying, in my opinion. Maybe I'm a little bit coping here because I did it so long ago, but I personally think it's one of the, you do it once, you know, it's not like it has to be very easy, because you will actually do it once and then you will be fine. But of course, it's not something that is very easy to do, because then otherwise everyone would have it. Yeah, I mean, I get the feeling. I definitely get the feeling. I have 36 pieces of legendary armor. I don't know why, but I have that. So I know the feeling of farming all the legendary armors and stuff. So at some point, I mean, just go for it, you know. It's a grind, yes, but go for it and have fun and take your time, you know. You don't have to get it tomorrow. Legendary weapons are quite good as well, yeah. The armor accessory students seems like a lot more work, but I would make my life a lot easier now. Yeah, I think it is more convenient, but it's also more work than just spending the gold on the trading post. That much is for sure. I did Aurora, and honestly, it was so much gameplay, I didn't mind it that much, not just running around talking to NPCs. Yeah, I think that's a good part about Aurora. Yes, it's gameplay. It might have time gates, but it's gameplay. I agree on that one. I didn't mind it that much either when it came out, but obviously people that want to have it now, it's harder to get. Even if you put 10 hours a day in, that doesn't help you. You have some time gates in there. That's obviously not for everyone. I started with the armor via raids, and now I go for the accessories. It sounds like a smart move, yeah. Yeah, Aurora is good. I would actually start with that one, yeah. To get them done, I've been trying to get achievements done for trinkets. Pretty time consuming. Yeah, but you have to think about it. You only do it once. So it's if you get it once, you can use it on every character. So it's a really good thing. So I personally think it's definitely worth the effort. But of course, if you don't like going for achievements, then it can be very annoying. That much is definitely true. But like I said, I think legendaries should not be very easy to get, because then everyone would have it, and it would also feel very boring, and the game would be not having a lot of long-term incentive to play it. I think it should always be something that actually keeps you playing the game and not just having everything with perfect gear on the first date and 99% of the community would quit after that. That's just how humans are, I guess. Is Azura your favorite race? No, I would say personally I like humans the most, but I play every single race and I have some kind of weird mind. I want to have some kind of clear order, and for me the humans are my PvE characters, the Asuras are my world versus world characters, my Sylvari are my PvP characters, my Norn and my Char are my storage characters. Sorry to all the Char fans out there. But trinkets are okay if you have living world. Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything, if you know the tricks of the trade, you can actually get all of them quite easily. Not only trinkets, but also the weapons and the armor and stuff. But it's definitely, I would say, more annoying to do than just having legendaries and switching stuff around. Yeah. The only race I hate are the fish. Maybe. I mean, that's not true, as you know, but people really think I do. I don't know why that always comes up. I'm not a fish hater. I want to repeat that. I'm not. Yeah. Welcome, Katja. Is there some new events starting today? Yes, that is correctly. We already have the PvP bonus event going. So we get more rewards from PvP. And more importantly, we have the only really worthwhile achievement, meta achievement that you have to do here. Getting a lot of gold, Ascended Shards of Glory, tickets, and just a lot of PvP rewards. So PvP is really, really good right now to actually farm. So be sure to engage with that if you're not a PvP hater, because you actually have the push game mode. So a lot of people will engage with it. We have some fun there, hopefully in a few minutes as well. And it gives a lot of loot. Yeah. So when you play the game now, what do you play for, assuming you got all the legendaries and goodies? So I play the game for fun. It sounds weird, but that's the main goal. I want to have fun. I want to play different things, different classes, showcase them, learn them, improve at them, and make content for you. I don't play the game with a big goal anymore. I play the game to have fun, and at some point maybe make a giveaway with my gold that I saved up and stuff like that. It's really, it sounds weird, but I really play the game only for fun. Yeah. Just make... Yeah, obviously, that would be better. Yeah, good point. I'm with you, Final One. I'm definitely with you. I agree, legendaries feel like this is the long-term goal that you steadily achieve. You can try to throw gold at it to speed it up, but they are still the end game of all gears. Yeah, I think that's how it should be, and I think actually ArenaNet did a quite good job actually to make it like that. They are worthwhile getting for the ultimate convenience, but it's not something that actually is more power grab than everything else, and it's also, in my opinion, very... I don't know, it feels like a very just good thing as a long-term goal to actually to play. What did I write? I am quick DPS. Okay, so I play Elementalist then, I guess. Yeah, push us back, not for that long, but at least we have some days, I think at least a week where we can play push. I think it's exactly 1 week. So that's at least something for sure. Just checking to make sure I can earn all 3 legendary armor vets by playing just 1 toon. Yes, you can. You can actually play every single game mode and play on 1 character. Let's say you just want to play PvE, like raids, and you can get all the legendary raid armor with just 1 character. Of course, that's not the usual way. Typically, people would play either all game modes and get a piece from there to actually get it faster, or you would, for example, go for full open world one or go for full PvP, because those are a little bit, so to say, faster. But I mean, no, it's not true. If you go for all raid wings and all challenge modes and stuff, you actually get them actually quite fast in raid as well. But yes, you're correct. You can, of course, go for every single one on a character. Yes. Mind sharing your keyboard mouse setup? I'm struggling with getting comfortable with all the keys. So I can share my keybinds, yes. So I have an MMO mouse, so that's very big already at the beginning. I use those keys here are bound to my mouse, as well as the F5. So those are bound to my mouse, so I can activate them without, so to say, pressing the 0 button, which is obviously crazy to actually use with the left hand. But 1 to 5 I use on the keyboard, and F1 to F4 as well. And this is the most important thing. If you don't have an MMO mouse, then you have to make some adjustments. I have something that for you as well. So there are keys around your WASD, and if you don't use them, for example, X, Y, C, even R, those you can actually just use instead of the 6 to 0. If you have 5 keys that are not used for you or not that useful, then you can actually easily equip them as well. Hope that helps. Ascended is as strong as Legends, there's really no rush. Yeah, exactly. You should have fun and play the game and have some fun and continue to your goal, whatever your goal is. But I think the Legendary in the end is a very nice long-term goal for sure. Nice. Very good. What stats do you run as quick DPS? Do you run some Diviners or full Circuit gear? I mean, on this build specifically, I don't run any boon duration. So Catalyst, Quickness Catalyst runs full Berserker gear. Yes, you can play a full boon support with 100, I think it's 120% quickness uptime or something, without any Diviners pieces. So that's the gear. I have a build guide on that on my YouTube channel if you want the details about it, yes. So, PvE on a quick DPS. Let's see how much DPS we do this time, because typically on this build I'm actually very high in the DPS. You get a free legendary with Seasons of the Dragons, very generous achievement line. Yeah, I agree, definitely. It's one of the best achievements they added for just long-term fun for people. So I would definitely recommend playing that one if you want to get a free legendary. It's really good. Yeah, I was expecting that much. I'm really high DPS. That's okay. You don't have to play. Don't have to be the top. I don't know. I'm just pugging. I'm having fun here. I don't care about the allies not doing that much damage. Yeah, shift button helps just to make more keys available to you. Shift, you can also use control. There are a lot of options to actually make that better. But of course, I would say you have to have some buttons in the first place that are actually useful, that are quite nice and quite close to your typical buttons that you would use. Any advice for the push game mode? Yes, I will give advice as soon as the push game mode comes out, and I will showcase it to you how it works and stuff. But in general, just try to have fun, try out different builds, and you will actually succeed. It's just having fun. Ooh, they killed actually 6 or 7 people. Not bad, not bad. Glad to hear going for Aurora first is a good move. Yeah, I think Aurora is a smart move. Yeah, definitely. What is strike? Some sort of raid? So strike missions, for those new players in chat, strike missions are like single boss encounter raids. So they are really fast. That's why I do them very frequently. You just have to do them, let's say, for 10 minutes or something, and then you are done with the boss and you get some rewards for it. And some of them are, like this one, are weekly kept, and some of them are daily kept, so I can repeat them every single day, which is obviously really nice if you want to farm gold. But for the new players, I would say Icebrood Saga strike missions are actually very worthwhile doing. And raids are also worthwhile doing, of course, but it's a little bit harder. So strike missions are easier raids, so to say, because they are single boss and are not really balanced that hard. Yeah. You can also use, of course, the Alt key. There are a lot of options. I think those 3, Alt, Control, and Shift, are the ones that I would suggest to actually use to alter your keys, and say Control 1 or something like that, or Alt 1 to actually use the key where I currently have 7. But yeah, I think there are a lot of options. You just have to adjust it to your liking, and then you will have hopefully a setup that works for you. That's the most important part. Adjust it to your own thing. Not only copy because some kind of streamer has this. That doesn't help you. You have to find the keys that are working for you. Maybe you have a bigger hand, maybe you have a smaller hand, maybe you have a different keyboard layout. This is what I can tell you. Yeah. I can kind of regret not doing Vision first though. Having Skyscale for all this would make things a lot easier. I mean, you could also go, it's not like you have to go for one first. You can also go for Skyscale, and then you still get the rewards from this, so to say, get the Skyscale, and then you can come back after that. So you don't lose progress there. But of course, that's not for everyone. Some people want to stick to one goal. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get the Skyscale and want to complete the same quest line as well, then of course, yes, you're correct. Then maybe it's better to go for the Vision first. Both of them are fine. I think both of them are very, very worthwhile. Vision might be even faster than Aurora actually to complete. You can do them at level 80, yes. Like almost any other content Guild Wars 2, it's just designed that way. Oops. If we're gonna jump to CM strikes with the guild, which one should we do first? So you should go for Dacta, which is really easy with the one that we're currently doing. This is really, really easy. It's not a real upgrade. And then you would obviously go for probably Aetherblade Hideout, then Anchor, then probably Old Lion's Court, and last but not least, KO CM. Yeah, that's probably it. And then I would say it gets a little bit tougher. Then you go to the really high level. Then I would go probably to Harvest Temple CM if you really want to. And then I would go to Demos, not Demos, how is it called? Temple of Fabis CM. Yeah, that would be my order. So we are GGing here to get some more blue shards. If the whole party GGs, then we get more blue shards for whatever reason. So that can help. There we go. And that's it. Few more minutes, then we can play push. Strikes are a good way to check out the bona fides of a leader. Yes, that's true. Good way to test your knowledge of your professional build. Yeah, I think strikes are not only a good way to test it, but also to improve on it. So you play, for example, a build like this, where you need a lot of buttons, you want to adjust to the rotation and stuff, to the encounter. And this is something where you try out how to adjust stuff in your rotation to have fun. And you slowly improve at it. And when you have the muscle memory in a real fight, then you can slowly go and play some other, maybe a little bit more challenging content, like Fractal CMs, like Raid CMs, maybe something like that. And that's, so to say, the slow learning curve. And I think strikes are really good, easy content to start out with in the PvE journey after reach level 80. And you will get crazy good rewards for just doing them daily. Yeah. At least the Iceblood Saga strike missions. Yeah. So I can highly recommend, if you enjoy PvE group content, this is the way to go, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. So a few more minutes, then we can push. So I will try to maybe already look at the build that I want to play. Where is my warrior? Yeah, Soul Beast is not for everyone, Filthy. That much is true. So what do we have here? We have Arbiter Amulet already. That's definitely what I want. We want Relic of the Trooper, of course, for some nice healing on the shouts. We want to have the battle standard. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm already using the quite similar stats and stuff that I want to have. Dolyak Rune makes also sense. You want to be a bit more tanky. Dagger in the main hand. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. Energy cleansing, energy transference. I think that makes sense as well. I'm not sure about the Dolyak Signet. Maybe I want to go for another shout just to get more healing out to my group. This would be the most aggressive setup. This is not that good. I think maybe Dolyak stance Signet is actually quite good. I will leave it at that. Let's look at the traits. This one is actually very good as well because of the resistance, but I think this one is obviously really, really strong as well. Healing and protection to allies helps a lot. I think this is actually really fun. I think I will leave it at that. I think that's really good. Defense, what do we have here? Don't have any blocks. Resistance on dodge roll makes sense. I mean, you could drop, maybe you could drop the dagger warhorn and go for hammer, and then you have some crazy CC as well. But I feel like it's a different kind of support. Maybe I have to try it. And then we have discipline here for some nice healing output. This is now a core warrior. Maybe I swap the discipline or the defense to spellbreaker, and I have spellbreaker support. Both can work. I will try them both when push comes out. If I need to tank with Chrono, I just get more givers items and switch them for Harriers. But is there any recommended toughness, or just be the highest toughness? So I can show it to you. So when you are tanking on Chronomancer, it depends a bit on the fight, or not on Chronomancer only, on all classes. If you are tanking on a fight like Veil Guardian, you can go for 5 toughness. Just a single infusion, and everyone else has the toughness at 1000, so at the minimum. And you will be the tank and you will be fine. So you should not need any toughness to actually survive. But on some fights that I want to point out, like Kadim 2, where you actually get hit quite hard, or Soulless Horror, those fights you actually might need some toughness to actually survive long enough for your healers to actually heal you again. So in that sense, I would say always use the lowest amount of toughness possible to get to be the tank and survive. So sorry, I can't give you a clear number here, but I would say typically if you are a healer, then your DPS doesn't matter that much anyway. So if you want to be the tank and are the healer, then I would go for full Giver's gear and you will have crazy high toughness, or go for full Minstrel gear and you will be fine. Because no one cares about your DPS. If you now do, instead of 2500, you do 500 DPS, who cares? Better survive. So that's definitely a good point, yeah. Hope that helps. What do you think of Aura Share Tempest? It's really good. I will play it later as well. Don't worry, I will play it later as crazy support build. It's really good, yeah. I'm planning to try my Boonstrip Spear Spellbreaker build to see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a good build. I think Spellbreaker is a very good pick, especially if you compare it to other warrior specs. I think that might be the best option for push, I would say, yeah. What would you say the current player count is at? Or is there a website to check? Sorry, Burden, we don't have any official numbers here. But if you check, so to say, how much players are currently looking for Guild Wars content and stuff, I feel like there is a very big casual community in Guild Wars 2 that still plays the game. It's just the hardcore scene that slowly decreases, especially when it comes to PvP. But if you are just asking for the average active players, I think we have a decent amount still playing. I don't want to give you any number because I don't have any proof whatsoever to tell you which kind of number is here the case. But of course, it's very high because they can still get enough money from it. So to keep it running the game and get a lot of the income of Guild Wars 2 in this quarter was actually quite decent. Yeah. Yeah, maybe Necromancer is really good in push, that's true. I've been picking up Guild Wars 2 again and it's amazing, so much content. I want to enjoy it, but not a ton of players in this areas. Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it, like the game is out for 12 years and I have a character like this, which explored most of the map. You have a lot of maps. So it spreads, you know, especially if you're in the core maps. Let's say, for example, I don't know, Timberline Falls. It's a really beautiful map, but it's just there is not a lot of incentive to go back there. But if you have the line anomaly or if you have some rifts there spawning, people actually go back and then you see how much people actually are still playing. So especially if you go into meta events and stuff and level 80 maps, you have a lot of players around. Look at this. I'm currently in a map where a lot of people is, like some kind of hub, and there are a lot of players standing around here. So the game is definitely not dead. So don't worry. You will have a lot of content to enjoy and you have a lot of players that actually play it with you as well. Yeah. Aura Share Tempest is one of my favorite things to play, trying to currently get some Orien's Legendary. Yeah, I think Aura Share Tempest is really fun in all game modes, but in PvP I would say it's probably the strongest right now. It's a very good supporter. So I personally think If you're a new player, you can play some kind of dagger focus variant to have some safety in there. But if you are more experienced, I think the staff variant is better. I will play it later. It's extremely strong. I still play the aura share, so I still play aura share with the powerful aura, but I play staff to have some ranged healing, especially with water. And the support here is insane. You will see that later in a push match. So I can just cover the whole node with healing and support while not being endangered. That's really, really helpful. Yeah. Spellbreaker is the only build I actually know how to survive in PvP. If I bring an ally, I'm in downstate the whole time. I mean, it's fine. Not every build is for everyone. But of course, if you want to try out Elementalist and want to get better at it, you just have to stick with it and you will learn it as well. Elementalist right now has so many builds that are really good. You can play Hammer Catalyst, Dagger Catalyst. You can play Staff Tempest. You can play Dagger Focus Tempest. You can play Dagger Tempest. There are so many builds. Even some kind of crazy Weaver build could work if you really wanted to. You just have to accept what your strength and your weaknesses are on the build, and then you will try to play around it. I think that works a lot. So is it out already? No. The decent income was because I started playing. I mean, maybe. I don't know how much you spent. I guess that's fine then if they make decent income because of you. Thanks for keeping the community alive, or the developers. If you see what the dailies and weeklies in the Wizard world are, that pushes people into maps for those dailies and weeklies. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. It's always like people are reward driven. So if there is a map that is actually not that rewarding, then people don't go there. But it's a map that is very rewarding, for example, Dragonfall and the level 80 farm maps, then people are always there. There is almost always some kind of a map going. For example, you can also look at Auric Basin, for example. It's a Heart of Thorns map. It was released back at 2016. And the map is still alive. People do it every day. Or Chuck Garant, just because there might be a very rare, expensive item and a fusion dropping here. People still play it. And of course, Auric Basin, there's beautiful maps, so it makes sense that people like it as well. So definitely not dead at all. Welcome, Francisco, welcome. I'm having a lot of trouble with getting my hands on Demolisher's Ascended statted gear. Why can't you swap Reset Ascended gear into Demolisher specs? So the problem is with Demolisher, it's the stat piece that was introduced just a few months ago. I think at this point, not even a year. And it doesn't have an exotic insignia. And you need that to actually stat swap. So it was introduced so late into the game that they didn't think about that you have to stat swap ascended pieces to get it. So you can check on the wiki. And there are some stat selectable pieces where you can get Demolishers there. But if you really want to use Demolishers on a lot of different builds, I would go for Legendary. Yes, that's not a very nice thing to say to a new player, but it's just the game doesn't really give you a better option there. So there are some stats selectable pieces that have, so to say, for example, the Wizard Wall pieces, I think. They give you fully stat selectable pieces and you can stat select them and get Demolisher pieces out of them. But if you can't get it any other way, then maybe you go for Marauder instead. It's often very exchangeable, or go for full Berserker. I think that for most pieces it wouldn't make that much of a difference, but I can feel you, it's really bad that it doesn't have the stat swapping. Yes, definitely. Welcome, Gabriel. Welcome. I'm swapping from Elementalist to Necro this time. Yeah, I mean, Necromancer is a really good pick. I think Elementalist is really good as well. I think it depends a bit if you are burned out of Elementalist or want to try something new. Good choice. I love Hammer Catalyst with all my heart, but I do enjoy summoning minions and being toxic in a good way. I can see that. No, I think it's always like you should play the thing that you enjoy the most currently, even if it's not the most optimal way. Sometimes that's especially in PvP and World vs. World, just have fun with the game, with the build that you play. In PvE, especially if you go for a group that actually wants to clear the stuff very fast, I wouldn't play a build that is suboptimal. So I wouldn't play this build here, like a full support Mesmer, or full DPS offensive support Mesmer. I wouldn't play this, for example, currently I'm playing Berserker, and I wouldn't play it with, for example, Soldier stats, because that's just grieving at this point. You should always find the middle ground between having a build that is fun to you and that's not grieving your group, because you're always playing with other players. You don't want to make them feel sad that someone is just very bad or not choosing the perfect gear or what they could do. But of course, if you feel like you're dying too much, you can easily swap your Berserker pieces to Marauder or Demolisher and you will still be fine. Just keep in mind the best option is Berserker for this build, for example. Yeah. Yeah, glad I could help, Francisco. I'll try and farm the Legendary slowly. It's gonna take a while. Until then, I'll try and have a mix of Demolisher. Exactly. It's the important part is to understand Guild Wars 2 is a very slow game. As soon as you have the perfect gear for your character, you're so to say done. You can play whatever you like with this character and you have the perfect gear. So take the slow journey, have fun, try to get the gear that you want, but play something that you enjoy about the game. This is really important. So in my opinion, getting Legendary early is very helpful, especially if you want to play different builds, because you can easily stat swap and I can say, oh, I want to go to Demolisher now, go to Demolisher, easily done. Yeah, but that's not something that I would recommend to a new player to play on the first day. That's not very realistic. It takes a while. Just keep playing, have fun, you will get it. Yeah. PvP players will get sad as well if I play Summoner build. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is in PvP, if you want to build craft and the build makes sense to you, no one actually gets hurt by that, you know, other than yourself. Because if I'm you as a single player, then I lose rating if I lose, and my teammates lose rating as well. But if I queue against them, they might win against me if my build is really bad. So PvP is in that sense a little bit more fair. In PvE, if you have always the same person joining a group and says they are experienced and using a completely shit build, then the whole group has to suffer because they will not actually get the kill, maybe take forever. So that's what I would say here. When does it start? 10 seconds. I mean, hopefully it starts. Sometimes it takes forever to actually start. Maybe I can. Maybe can you actually? No, you can only play 1 or 2 people. You can't play in a five-person squad, can't you? Yeah. I think you can. That would be horrible if I played push against 5 really tryhard players. That's not good. You want to have nice ranked only 1 or 2 people having a party. I hope it starts now. I think they said, let's check, but I think they said it was noon Pacific time. I think that's what they said. Let's check. Yeah, that should be now. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are wrong. Maybe it takes a while. I hope push is live. I hope so. Maybe it takes a while for them to update it. Sometimes we are not completely sure if it's actually starting. I can at least talk to this guy. We are CET, that's correct. We are actually CEST, that's correct, Filthy, here in Germany and Poland, I think. But the thing is, they are in US and they said they will start at noon Pacific time, which is right now, as far as I know. So I hope they will switch it around. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but I hope it will start any moment. Yeah, exactly. It's not 7 days anymore. That's a good point, but that doesn't mean that I can queue up right now, sadly. So I hope it will actually let me queue up for push and I can actually finally make my title come true. Exactly, 12:02 Pacific time. So they are late. We don't like that. So where is Safira? Yeah, I need to talk to here. What do I get? I get some kind of... Is it not that I can get an infusion from this one? Let me check. Yeah, it actually is. So if you're really lucky, you get one of those boxes. One of those boxes. If you're really lucky, you can actually get infusions here, like the crazy ones. You can get Kanur infusion. You can get Chuck infusion. Aurelium infusion. Even Confetti infusion and Crystal infusion are here. So every person that talks to this woman, you don't even have to play PvP. Just to get this, and if you're lucky, you get an infusion. Of course, I will not, because I'm very unlucky in this game. If you might have noticed, I opened 2,000 Blackline chests and I didn't get a single contract. But maybe you are lucky and get the infusion. So you could get an infusion. Maybe you're right. Maybe I will be lucky at some point, but not today. So don't expect an infusion, but if you get one, be happy and take it. Yeah. Can you buy these chests from TP? No. You will only get them once here from talking to this guy, and only in the next 7 days. And they have sometimes events like this where you get one, but you can't get them from anywhere else. You can't sell them. They are not tradable. So it's just the incentive to actually engage with the game and come back to the game mode and stuff. It's not really giving you a big opportunity to make gold or get rich in the game. Yeah. But that's okay. You know, you don't always have to be rich. There will be the Festival of the Four Winds will come up soon, and there you can exchange your materials. For example, you can exchange your wood, your mithril, or all of that. You can exchange for boxes that are similar to this one, and you can also get chuck extract from there. So yes, that can work, but the rank you popped, but it's just no, it's not pushed yet. Yeah, have fun then. But we will have Festival of the Winds for Winds, and I will open quite a big amount of chests there as well. Maybe I get an infusion there, but it's actually not very likely. You're warming up. Perfect. Makes sense. Maybe I should do that as well. And it wants you to shout out loudly that you got a great prize so more people chase the loot. Yeah, exactly. I think it makes sense that people actually engage with stuff that actually has some potential of a high value drop. That's why people play the Chuck Garant every single day, even though it's actually not very lucrative. Yeah, it's like the Chuck Garant meta event. If you don't get an infusion drop, which is like everyone doesn't get the infusion drop, the Chuck Garant is not that profitable. It's giving you a few amount of silver, maybe up to 1, 2, 3 gold if you're lucky, but that's it. But people still do it every day because they have the chance of getting infusion there. That is worth currently, I don't know, 10k or something. So it's always you chase the big thing. Yeah. So yeah, it's 10k. So that's crazy. Yeah. It's always just people want to get the big ticket item. By the way, thanks El Jonathan and Mao for the follow. Really appreciate it. But as always, if you have any questions, any comments, let me know. Hopefully we get the push starting soon. I really hope we get that. Otherwise, we have to queue up for some PvP without push. That would be a little bit boring. I don't want to go for a conquest match. I was hyped up for push. The same is true for the Pinata. Definitely, Gail, you are completely correct. You stand around for 20 minutes where you don't get any loot, maybe some experience if you go for the event, and then you do a fight that has a chance of dropping a really big ticket item. But if you don't get it, you get almost nothing. And people still do it every day. You have, let's say, obviously a high amount of leechers that don't engage with the event before, but still, it's like people do it every day because they have a chance of the big ticket item. That's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, material storage expanders are really, I like them a lot for the reason that I like to collect stuff. I don't want to sell my stuff, and then when I get the legendary that I want to make next time, for example, and give away, then I need to buy all the materials. So I will have the material storage expanders and have it at maximum. That's what I do. Not a lot of people really care that much, but I feel like it's for me it's very worthwhile. Yeah. Push seems up. Yeah, there it is. Very good. It's up. Good. It's up. It is up. We can queue for it. That's what we wanted. Thanks for telling me, Elmao. Thanks a lot. Does overcapping on agony resistance help? Yes, to a ridiculously low amount. So if you have 150 agony resistance, you will be fine and can do every single fractal at the highest level. But if you have 200, maybe even 250, there are those potions, you know, those fractal potions. I have the infinite one. You get then the mist offensive potion, the mist defensive potion, the mist mobility potion. And those have some kind of bonus effect. And if you use this with very high agony, you get some kind of more concentration, for example, or a little bit more DPS from converting the agony, so to say, in a little bit more extra stats. But it's very, so to say, little amount. So yes, you get extra stats and that helps, but that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Maybe even not that bad of an investment to go for the super rare infusions. When you do it 1,000 times and drop it eventually. I mean, I have to be honest. If you sum up all those events that I did, I would have, if it really after 1,000 times, then maybe I have gotten it. But I did the just the Auric Basin one I did, I think at this point like 500 times or something, and I still didn't get it. So it's like, yeah. Maybe I'm unlucky, but still. That push is terrible for Cassiopeia, Mike, just getting farmed in every game. Oh, that sounds bad. I don't know. I really want to make a guide about it and want to give your opinion, get your opinion as well here. Maybe you're right. But I think PvP is just obviously always like, if you don't try hard, then it might be harder for you actually to win. And I always feared that this might be, they're playing already double support and stuff. Oh my god. It's a completely new map. It's actually crazy. Let's check it out a bit. Yeah. I'm now playing Willbender. I will swap every single match. I will not play the same build over and over. I will now play Willbender just because I was queuing on it. But later I will play different builds after every match. Exactly. Yeah, I always thought it's so funny if I had someone actually tell me, oh, I'm pushing so hard. That reminds me always like a pregnant woman or something. But now I'm playing PvP. Nice new UI here on top. Let's see how it goes. You have a Firebrand. They are stealth as well. I mean, the Virtuoso is maybe a good target here. You see, this is actually crazy. How much do you get damage reduction? Yeah, maybe a range build is better here. They have a lot of support here. Oh my god. I have to get the rest here. Because if I don't get the rest here, we might lose this instantly. But they got the rest. No, that's why two supports is actually really hard to fight. They're playing a hammer. Oh my god, they're playing so obnoxious stuff. It's actually crazy. I think we can't win this match. Important part is don't give up, because you can always win. But of course you also should... Oh my god, they got the rest as well. But of course you should also go not die. It's like in every PvP match, if you die, you are worse off than if you would just have disengaged. It was a good juke, I have to admit. But now you're dead. So now we let them bleed here a bit. Ooh. You just stand in the capture node. So that's the most important part, that you understand. Don't stand like we just did in 5 people here. Always try to understand just one person needs to be in there to contest it or to actually make it move. So always just stand there as a single player, because all of you will get the healing damage and debuff, and they will die instantly if the enemy team engages. So we really don't want that. I want to get them a little bit out of sync, that they not all push in here. But range damage is so much better. I can't engage here because I don't want to stand in the node, but I also don't want to leave my... That's my team just stand there and they're instantly dead. So I just have to leave now. I can't... Classical push. Yeah, I mean, that my teammate is just... My teammates are just standing there as 5 people in, or 4 people in the enemy, in the node. That's obviously really bad. Just have to try and contest it a bit. Okay, this guy committed quite hard, I have to be honest. Yeah, now they die for it. That's why you disengage, because this guy lies now completely off point. And they will not have fun for the most part. For the next few minutes, because I will let them bleed there. Okay, let's help my teammates a bit. God, my team is so committed to the point and standing there for years. No, hit stability. Go on this guy. Ooh, is this close? Now my team got it, actually. Just one person standing in here. Okay. I got called a hacker in my first PvP match of the day. I mean, that's something. I like it, you know. Now, that means that you are a good player, I guess. So we want to, I guess, engage on this guy. Interesting, they also changed the setting. My god, my team is just dying there on point. What about builds that can pull to separate the enemy groups? I think that might be also a worthwhile idea, but I feel like, how can I carry a group that is just running in, dying on point because they all have the debuff? And I think I can actually one-shot them now, because they all have the debuff. It's actually... I think Hammer is actually a really good pick on the Revenant right now. They have a lot of no pot spots. I liked it. I think the new map design is very fun. So, spear engage. Yeah, I mean, Willbender, when they all have the debuff, it's actually amazing. I have to be honest, it's amazing. Go on this guy, he's pressured. Oh my god. My team. They are so focused on the node, I actually don't know how to deal with that. I mean, how many people do I have to kill here? It's really fun to play Willbender here, because the enemy team is just standing on the node forever. Now they all died because of the Skyhammer mechanic that we now got. I really want to see my damage at the end of the match. I mean, my team is losing this for sure, but my damage is actually quite good. What is this build you just have? It's just a very classical Willbender build. Willbender for PvP. That's the build right now. And I have a guide on my YouTube channel about it. Just Willbender PvP. That's it. Spear Willbender, yeah. It's really good. You can see how I farm those guys because they all have the debuff. Maybe we can still win. I mean, this match is insane. Classical push experience. Yeah, Staff Tempest is actually really good because you don't have to stand on the point and can still heal the enemy, the allies. But my teammates are doing it again. They all have the debuff. They don't stand on the node if there is no enemies contesting it. Just stand. One person is enough to cap it. Go on this guy. It's actually, it feels really bad. Okay, we have kill here. Cleave, 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 cleave. Nice, we got the rally. Nice. Nice. The damage is there. When we get the kill here, that would be amazing because then we can stagger the kills. That's always very good. Oh my gosh. Nice. The support, and it's just like we ideal damage, the enemy's support heals them. Oh my god, is that... What is the debuff mechanic? So if you stand on the point, you get a debuff and you will get less healing, you will get more damage. So you don't want to stay on the point. So you see, reduces incoming healing and increases incoming damage. So you really want to stand off point as long as you can. So I just want to survive here.
Tranquility has appeared.
Yeah, the Firebrand is really underestimated how much healing Firebrand can push out. Nice, we get a lot of kills here. That's good. That's what we want. That's why you don't stand there in the enemy in the node for the debuff, because they're now all dead. Or is this a close match? Push is fun, but this is also feeling my teammates are trolling so hard. Why are they standing again as two people on there? Please don't do that. Really, that's my biggest thing that I want to have here in the stream as a takeaway. Please don't stand there and try to cap the point as 3-2 people or even more. Really, always consider. Ooh, that was a crazy good gravity will. I love it. Good Chronomancer. Good Chronomancer will. That might actually carry the match to the end here. This guy is good. Nice. Nice. If you're DPS, you can stand on point, but you don't want to be on point if you want to actually hold the point. If you're DPS and you want to deal DPS, you can stand on point for a while. But you should never stand on point if you want to hold it, actually. Nice, we got the cliff, but I think we can actually get the kill on the Firebrand now. I mean, the Firebrand is doing a good job, but... This is actually a very good Willbender showcase. Yeah, this is how they balance the bunkers, and I think they actually do a quite good job here, because it's actually really working in the way that... Oh my god, that was a really good fear wall. it's working really well because people die as if they stand too long on the point, which is exactly what we want. We want people dying, but we also want to have some option for support because that's obviously really nice here. We are almost here, but I can't help my team here, so I have to just disengage a bit. And hope my team actually comes back. Very interesting. I like it. I almost have 1 million damage. I didn't die once. Really tries to survive. Don't die on point, or don't die off point. That's really important. Oh, there's a lot of condis. This guy has 10 debuffs. Holy shit. This is... This is so close. I have to be really careful. If I die here, we lose the match, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's push. We are fighting for 50 minutes straight. So, I mean, it will be over in 40 seconds or something. So really have to be careful here. Nice, get the kill. Oh, they didn't get the kill. No, this was too much damage. We got a kill here on the firebrand, that's good, but they got the cliff, that's not good. I have to survive here. I really do. Oh, the weakness is actually really annoying. 8 seconds. I think we are good here. I think we're good. Because we have 94, we get it. We got it. Nice, we won. Very good. So how much damage did I have? Almost 1 million. Almost 1 million damage. 24 kills and 0 deaths. That was fun. I mean, is Willbender good if the enemy team doesn't focus you? Yes. If you just go on ranked, and currently the ranked season is only push. So if you want to go there, you can actually get that. You don't have, this is for unranked. You only want to press the compete button and you will actually get a push one. Yeah, that was, I didn't even care too much if we won or lost this match. It was fun for me to play as a Willbender because I actually had a lot of damage and it was worth playing Willbender here. I'm not sure if every match is like that because I felt like I was free casting in melee, which is obviously not what you typically would see. Yeah. But so we queue up. We queue up once again. Oh, is it broken? Oh no, it's broken. They broke it already. Yeah, I guess I was in the match. I didn't see it. Oh no, sad. It was actually really fun, and now PvP is broken. No, my internet is fine. Yeah, I think it might be a problem on their side, obviously. Let's check if we have some news from them already. Sometimes they update us with some news, but yeah, it looks quite broken PvP. But that was a fun match. I actually enjoyed it. I hope you had some fun there as well. Yeah, I actually think it's quite likely that they will give us some update very soon. So sad. It felt like this was a very fun one. You can get in if you're lucky. Yeah, but I have to be honest, I'm not sure if I want to play if it's currently buggy, because if I then get in and then there happens something and I get stuck there or something weird happens, sometimes the bugs are really horrible. Yeah, I think almost everyone in PvP lobby actually has the problem as far as I can see here. That's sad. Is Condi Herald or Power Herald better for PvP? So there was a Power Herald build with Spear that was absolutely broken before the last patch, but the last patch actually nerfed it quite a bit. So I would say Condi Herald or Hybrid Spear Herald is actually the best option right now. But the power build is still viable. So Power Herald is still a decent pick. Maybe in push it's actually really good, but it feels like you're also quite squishy. So they nerfed a lot of your sustain. So I personally think the Condi Herald is a little bit more well-balanced and doesn't depend on your team that much. But play the one that you enjoy more because both of them are actually quite playable still. They might not be the S tier builds anymore, but they're still playable. Yeah. Push is being pushed too hard? Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted to play it, and I think they have some server issues there. Yeah, I mean, I had that before. I had that before, that when some kind of, for example, the Super Adventure Box gets turned off the festival and you are still in the loading screen, it sometimes happens that you're stuck in there until they've fixed that bug. I had that before, it was years ago, but it can happen. And that happened for PvP. I had it the last few PvP matches in the casual normal conquest queue. I had the same. I wanted to leave the map. I left the map and I got teleported back into the map. Typically that's is only working once and then I can get out, but it's still very annoying. And I really hope that this is not happening to me forever, because I actually know people that had to completely restart the PC and stuff and completely don't log on the character anymore for a while until they fixed it. It was really, really bad. Looks like it's just tons of Condi build stackers in this event so far. I don't know. I feel like Condi is currently really good. I think Condi, Spectre, Condi Soul Beast, Condi Reaper, you have a lot of Condi builds that are actually really good right now. And this makes it, in Conquest at least, that was the case. I'm not sure if it's such, if I can tell you already what the meta will be in push, but right now I played a Willbender match. We had 2 supports, the enemy team had 2 supports, and it was insane how much damage I did. I did exactly 1 million damage, I would say. It was crazy, and I didn't die once, but I think that might just be in this specific game. Yeah. What's the best reward track in PvP? So I would say it depends a bit. So I personally would always go for the unrepeatable ones, so the ones that don't have this infinity sign there. I would always go for this ones first. But I think personally that you should go for the one that actually gives you the most amount of progress in some kind of other area, because yes, there might be one that is currently the best in terms of raw liquid gold that you get. But in PvP, you should always use the loot that you get from there to actually progress something else, in my opinion, if you don't play PvP only. So for example, if you want to get the dungeon achievements, I would go for the Dungeon Explorer, but keep in mind you don't get Mystic Clovers from that one. All other give you Mystic Clovers. So for example, Chance Wilds one is really good if you want to go for legendaries from there, or some achievements from there. If you want to go, for example, for the PvP legendary armor, you would go for the Claudius armor reward track. And what I currently am doing, I want to get a lot of those writs, just so that I can craft a lot of legendaries. I already have all the Urine legendaries, but I want to craft more of them and sell them. That's a very lucrative way of earning gold as well. And I don't have to engage with any of the meta events anymore if I have enough of those favors that I get from the writs. So I just complete the Kantan reward track over and over and over again and get some favor from there and sell it then, so to say, with the legendaries. But that's obviously, you should always adjust it to something that actually works for you and that is actually most, so to say, important for you, because I think the account bound currency that you get from the reward tracks are way more important than the actual liquid gold. You get a lot of liquid gold passively, and all the reward tracks except the dungeon one gives you Mystic Clovers at the end, which are obviously really worth it as well. Mystic Clovers you can't sell, but you can craft legendaries that you then can sell, and they're actually quite high value. Typically, one Mystic Clover is around 5 to 7 gold, 5 to 8 gold, depending on the current economy. So it's actually quite valuable to getting 2 at the end of a reward track. Crazy, you actually got in then. I don't get in anymore. PvP tier list when? So I already have a Conquest tier list actually out already. So you can check it on my YouTube channel, just April PvP tier list. But I will do a push tier list as well, but I can't play currently. That's the sad part. I want to get in. I don't know. Push is up. Yes, I played one match of push, but I can't get into the match anymore. It's not letting me. So sad. Sage Dagger Tempest might be a good one for push. Yeah, I think Dagger Tempest, I think it actually is really obnoxious how good that one might be. I will try it out if I can get in. Yeah, I will actually do it, yeah. I think me being in PvP match when the event started saved me. I mean, I got one. I got one and I was in the match and it worked perfectly fine, but when I came out, it didn't work anymore. I don't know what's the problem here. Really weird. I really hope they fix it because I really hope that I could play more push today. And not only look at the PvP push button. Sad. Yeah, it's messed up on everything. I think it's oh, maybe no. I think maybe it's too many people queuing. Maybe it's because push the change was not perfectly executed. I don't know what's the problem is. Maybe relook. I mean, I could try, but I think that's probably not the issue. I think that's typically not helping if it's server side, you know. I could try. I will try. I will relog and check how it works. But typically it's not, yeah, won't work. I mean, it's worth a try, but I think it's very unlikely. Yeah. It's server side, I think. I'm pretty sure they have broken some stuff. That's very usual what they do. When the new stuff comes out, they break something old. And now it's the queuing system, which is obviously really bad. We can't queue up then, and we will be sad. Okay, there we go, I'm back. But I think it didn't change anything, sadly. Was worth a try, but I was already expecting that it didn't help because a lot of people actually have the same issue. And I think a lot of them would exactly do the same. But what can you do? So if you didn't notice, I was actually testing Relic of Rivers on the Willbender here because I feel like you have a very interesting situation where Willbender doesn't really have the craziest amount of relics anymore. Yes, you can use Storm Singer, still good, but it's after the nerfs not as good anymore. Especially because you have your 2 skill only once, so it's not that crazy good anymore. You could use the, how is it called, Brawler Relic? Yeah, deal increased strike damage for duration after granting protection or resolution to yourself, but it has only 50% uptime at maximum. You could, of course, use the Fireworks Relic. There are a lot of options, but I feel like oftentimes just having some more healing and some more cooldowns coming up, I feel like Rivers is actually interesting. But personally, you can actually run every relic on this build. I feel like the build is really just getting more damage. Even the evasion relic could be worth it. Just getting something that actually makes you survive and deal damage after that. Maybe even Eagle relic could be worth it. But I was trying this one and it worked out in this match very well. I think I survived because I could press my buttons more often. But I don't know. It's not working, sadly. Maybe we have to do the tier list already, but this is obviously a bit bad because I have to assume how good a build is without testing it in the push game mode. It's a little bit sad. I really wanted to make some comprehensive research before I do my tier list on push. I really hope they fix it soon, otherwise I have to play some other things. Is it working for you guys, or is it really completely broken for everyone? Except Sochi, apparently. Yeah, so this was Willbender. I wanted to play support warrior. I wanted to play support Tempest. Yeah, I think NA has the same problem here. Sad. I wanted to play support Tempest. I wanted to play probably Sage Tempest. I mean, Sage Tempest seems like a good pick until you think about it, that a support Tempest is probably better at your role. I'm not sure if Sage is actually the... maybe you're right. Maybe Sage is a good pick because you have a lot of Condy cleanses. Maybe let's try the Sage Tempest build. Sage, Dolyak, and I guess Dagger. And energy cleansing. Maybe it gets fixed shortly. I hope so. This main purpose of PvP in this game is to make PvP players suffer. I really hope not. I hope that's not the purpose. I really hope. Yeah. So Sage Tempest is so good because you have invigorating torrents. Auras you grant regeneration and vigor. And that means with this trait, grant vigor to nail allies when you're turning to water, and restore endurance to allies when you grant vigor. So every time you apply an aura, you actually grant vigor. The vigor grants endurance, and of course gives you more endurance regeneration. So that's why this build is so good. So I really like that one. What else do we want to play? I guess those. And probably this. And then powerful auras. You could play this one, but I don't have any cantrips, so yes, this one is good. And then you really want to have the protection on Earth. This is good. And this is good. So this would be the build, I think, and you play the Sage to get some damage out. So my PvP screen has the loading circle, but when I click on the queue for ranked, it's delayed, but can click on it and leave the screen open until it puts me in the game. Interesting. For me, it doesn't work. It's loading, but click on it, nothing happens, and after a while it comes the pop-up that there's some kind of server issue. That's it. But it's already, you know, the whole window is bugged. I think they have some bigger problem. It's really sad. I actually really was hyped actually for playing some more stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, Bear Chris. I think River's Relic is actually the best one. The River Relic gives you not only the alacrity, which is obviously really good for getting just more cooldowns faster off. You know, you have a lot of weapon skills, so that makes a lot of sense. But the regen is actually a good thing. The regen is crazy because you actually take this one I would take if I don't want to support my allies. Cleanse condition from allies you can't reach into, which also is yourself. So every aura that you apply cleanses a condition, gives you endurance, gives you vigor, and when you dodge, you also cleanse a condition. So that's a really good combination. Yes, I really like that. But it's obviously a little bit matchup dependent. If you don't need that much cleanse, then I wouldn't go for River's Relic, or I think it depends a bit on the matchup. Because the powerful aura is obviously also really, really good. But the shouts are already to your allies as well. So typically you don't even need that. So I feel like this is the setup that I would run. Maybe switch that to that if you need more conic lenses. But yeah, I don't know. Really interesting. Yeah, sadly it doesn't work. Maybe we have to play some World vs. World until it works. Maybe someone can confirm it when it works again, but right now, it seems like it's quite boring. Thanks, Grizzly, by the way, for the follow. Really appreciate it. Sad. Really sad. Really wanted to play some push. We will do so tomorrow, if it doesn't work today. And then we can hopefully make Achilles tomorrow as well in the evening. That's what I want. Was my plan. So let's see how it goes. Welcome, Anubis, welcome. So currently, for me at least, push is bugged. So it should be out. I could press this button and I should get into a match after a while. But currently it's bugged and I feel like no one else gets in. That's the problem. Welcome, Roaming Sparrow, welcome. I really wanted to play some push today, but it feels like currently it's bugged. I really hope they fix it soon so I can play a little bit more on stream. I just got in one match and that's it. But I don't know, it doesn't feel that great. Welcome, Tsuki, welcome, welcome. How is it going in your journey? Yeah, I really hope they fix it soon, because if that's consistent and very long lasting. It's really bad. I don't like it. No one else actually, not a lot of people as far as I know actually can get into match. So that's a problem. And I hope that's making it more urgent for them actually to fix it, because obviously it's not some kind of single issue, but it's an issue that a lot of people face. I don't know. I think Willbender is actually not that good. I think Willbender is an A-tier pick, but I feel like currently there is so many Condi builds out there that are really good. And the team fight power of Willbender got nerfed so hard that I feel like Willbender is a good pick, but it's not the best pick. I think you want to have some ranged in the kit. Because if you always stand on the node, you actually will not get the nice healing that you get from your allies, because you will get the debuff and you will just die on node if you want to fight the melee. I don't know. I deleted about 10 characters, but eventually I stayed with Ranger. Nice, very good. You're getting there. Over halfway done with level 41. Very good. Yeah, Ranger is a good class. Hope you enjoyed. I clicked and waited and it started. I mean, good for you. For me, it didn't work. For me, it's bugged. Yeah, sorry. On the last push beta event, Willbender was by far the easiest class on that mode. Yeah, I think that was also because Willbender was absolutely broken at this point. I think nowadays it's a way more balanced. Yeah, just enjoy the journey. That's the way. That's how you play it. Because if you don't enjoy the journey, or if you really rush the journey, then you will be sad in the end because you can't do it again. That's just the truth. For me, it's loading like that and I can't get in the match. I don't know what the problem is. I really don't know what the problem is. Maybe they have some really big changes. Normally, it's just like they switch some kind of trigger and then you have push instead of the normal season and that's it. But apparently today they have some really big server issues. I don't know what the issue is for them. But maybe they have some bigger changes that they made in the background. I don't know. I really don't know. They didn't nerf Willbender that much in that time. I think Stormsinger didn't even test. I mean, Stormsinger is completely unplayable or not that good anymore. Holy shit, that's a lot of players. And I think they made a lot of nerfs to Willbender. Willbender is way worse now. I think it's just very, very bad in terms of compared to the old build. It's still playable, don't get me wrong. It's a nice pick, but it's not broken whatsoever. Yeah. Nice, you got an Ascended Ring. Very good. You get into push, get an Ascended Ring. I don't get into push, don't get an Ascended Ring. Now I'm sad. Nah, congrats. Very good. Yeah, the 200% Magic Find is really good for that. Sometimes in the past, I actually saved up 40 reward tracks or something when events like this happened, so I could open all of them at the maximum Magic Find. Is Greatsword Ranger garbage tier? Yes, sadly. Ranger Greatsword is really bad. It sadly needs a buff. Yeah, sorry to say that. How long does it take to get the push beta thing? I mean, if it's working, it takes, I don't know, 30 matches and then you will have it. So typically, I don't know, if you're lucky, probably like 4 hours or something. It's not too bad. 4 or 5 hours, yeah. What's your main? I don't really have a main. I play all the classes. I typically play the light armor classes the most, but I play all the classes. Yeah. Many people said Stormsinger nerf as a Willbender nerf, but not really, especially on push where everyone is on that stupid small node. So damn good to only press 2 buttons for a nuke. You would think so, but I feel like I think the Stormsinger relic is not that good anymore on Willbender because they also removed the 2 stacks on your Helios rush, so your 2 skill only has 1 rush now only. They nerfed it quite hard. They nerfed it quite hard. That's the problem. It's not like don't get me wrong. It's still an A tier build for me, but I would probably put Willbender not in S tier because you have no range pressure. If an enemy Reaper spikes you with Condis, you're dead. That's just how it goes. I mean, nice, we got it. I really hope they buff it somehow. Longbow and Greatsword are my favorite. Yeah, I think you chose some really classic Ranger weapons that both are not really useful in PvE. They are just power crept by the other weapons. That's the sad truth. And I really hope that they buff the bows and specifically and the Greatsword. I really hope they buffed it. In PvP, it's actually okay, or quite good actually. Longbow greatsword, but in PvE it's not that good. Longbow greatsword untamed is good. I feel like it's you can play it, but I think it's power crept by spear, by hammer, by even offhand axe. All of that is actually better. That's the problem. It's my take. I haven't played PvP since like 2014, but I might give it another shot. I think it's really fun. I really think that push, especially when a lot of people are playing, it's a really fun game mode. It's not very try hard in that sense. You just have fun. You try out different builds and it's over after 10 minutes, one way or the other. And that's good. It's not like you queue for 5 minutes and then you have a 15-minute match that is over after 1 minute, but it still takes 15 minutes to end. That's what I like about push. Yeah. I play some more Willbender when I get into the match. Yes, Sochi. Yeah, maybe Longbow. Maybe that's a crazy cook roaming spirit. Maybe you're right. Maybe Longbow on the Willbender is the next good pick there. Maybe you're right there. Because that might work in push very well, I would say. But I feel like I'm talking about really meta picks and conquest picks, and I think you can see in the monthly AT, for example, no one was playing Willbender anymore. Willbender is really, it got dethroned for sure, especially with Power Herald being back. Or it was back. Yeah, now it's got nerfed again. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, by the way, for the follow, Condi. Really appreciate it. So, let's give it another go, I guess. Yeah, I think Longbow is really fun. No, it's not working. Oh, it's not working. They just don't let me go in. And the last match didn't actually count in as well. It's interesting. The last match was, I got the reward, but I did not get my rating for it. Even I don't care, but it's really weird that it doesn't show me what I actually did. Really weird. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Dagger Catalyst is really good. I feel like sadly in push it's not that good because you are a side noder and you really want to duel someone or be in 1v2s or something. But in push you can't achieve that for the most part. So that's not the best build to play in my opinion there, but it's a very fun build in Conquest. Yeah. I think Longbow is a fun pick, but I think it might not be the meta pick. I have to be honest. I think everything that has some kind of projectile is not very likely to be very good. The problem is because for me, if you get some decent enemies, they will have at least 2 supports. And if you have a Willbender that has a Longbow, you have projectiles that can be reflected and you can kill yourself with that. And I feel like a decent Firebrand and a Chronomancer or even a Tempest with a lot of shouts and magnetic auras, it's quite hard actually to hit the targets with projectiles. So I think the best ranged option for damage is for me Condi Reaper, is for me some kind of ranged attacking, not projectile like a Virtuoso, something like that, or even a Power Mirage. That is for me the DPS carries. Maybe a Willbender if you play it really well, but I don't know. I feel like it's you should play what you like. It's a game mode where you don't have to play the most optimized builds. You just have fun and try different builds. And I want to make a tier list tomorrow. Hopefully I can get some matches going before that, because obviously I want to get my research done and want to rate the stuff in a fair way. I think actually Warrior as a supporter is actually pretty broken. I'm pretty sure Firebrand and Warrior might be the best supporter there together with Staff Tempest. I think Chronomancer got a little power crept when it comes to the nodes and stuff holding. I think Tempest, Firebrand and Core Warrior, maybe Spellbreaker as a supporter are actually better there. Why do Solbees ever unmerge with his pet, especially in PvP? If you unmerge, you get the pet attacks. So sometimes the pets actually help you if you use their attacks and you can maybe get some nice utility from the pet. But typically you're right, of course the merging stuff is a little bit more helpful, but the attacks from the pets can carry you as well. Some knockdowns, some nice damage increases, stuff like that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Tempests are really bad, sadly. A lot of Tempests are just standing on point, even though they're playing Staff. And yeah, you're right. Obviously, Magnetic Aura is something that they never heard of before quite often. It's like Tempest is a build people always think, oh, that's a nice support, but you really have to know how to play it and why it's actually a good support. It's giving auras, giving stability and that kind of stuff. But the same goes for Firebrand. I think Firebrand in PvP only works if you know what all your buttons do, and that's already quite a big ask for a lot of players because you have so much different skills to read. Condi Reaper is not sexy at all. So boring damage? I mean, it's boring maybe, but it's a very good pick in push. I think it's a very, very good pick, Chuck. Because you have a lot of AoE pressure, you have very consistent damage, and that's what you want in push. That's what I meant. It might be a boring take. I don't want to judge there. I just want to give you the objectional take that it might be a good pick there. Do you think a Dragon Hunter bunker build would be good in this push? The problem is bunker builds are relying on having a lot of self-healing or damage reduction, and you actually can't get that in push because you get the debuff, you know? You get the debuff to take more damage and get less healing. So you will die faster. But of course, if you, so to say, bunker by evading and blocking attacks, then it works. But I think most of the attacks that bunker, or most of the builds that bunker through evades and just a lot of blocking, have high cooldowns on that because they want to nerf bunkers. So I think it's actually, you can make it work to some extent, but I feel like you get punished for it quite fast if you stay too long on the point. So if I manually use pet skills and then on merge, that skill is not on cooldown. So I can show you in a second. So if you have different skills than the pet, so yes, the cooldowns are not sharing, so I don't need to show it. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, if Teapot can't get into push, then we know that servers are actually the problem and not my client. Yes. Solby's ripping out their pet to use utility that gives the pet all your conditions. I think Solby's nowadays, especially in PvE, never unmerge, but in competitive modes, it has some reason to do so, but you have to know when to do it. So you shouldn't just do it for whatever reason. You have to think about it when it's smart, especially if you run the trait that lets you swap pets while you are merged, then it's very unlikely that you swap pets or that you go out of the merge form a lot, but it can be worthwhile, especially because you get some traits that actually give you stuff when you go in merge. So keep that in mind as well. So it's a little bit like you have to go out to go back in to get the benefits. But if you don't play the trait with the pet swapping allowed while you are merged, then of course you can only swap pets while you are unmerged. That's also true. No, not all of them are the same. Or they are not the same, yeah. It's sad. I really was hyped for push, and now I'm, you know, so to say a little bit. Oh, is it back? Oh. We won within 30 seconds. Map design is bad. It makes me feel like that all I will get is claustrophobia. That's too bad. I mean, it's not for everyone. I can feel that. I want to get some more games going before I make a judgment on that. My match did go to timer, my first match. So that was fun. I had 1 million damage at the end. So that was quite nice. Quite a fun experience, I would say. And we won. Maybe that's why it's fun, but it's not for everyone. That much is for sure. So I try it. I want to give my feedback, just maybe a tier list out, and it will leave after 1 week. So it's not forever, and we will get it back at some point fully in the game, and then you don't have to play it. But I really want to emphasize that the rewards right now with the push bonus event are actually crazy. So you get a lot of them, especially when you play push, but you don't have to play push. You can just play PvP and you will get the rewards anyway. Well, we have a Reaper here. Doesn't want to fight me. I think you might be right that the map is a little bit worse because it feels like you have it's less open, so that makes it a little bit less, so to say, I don't know, you can't free cast that easily. It's more like you have to really stand on node, or otherwise you can't see to the node anyway. I feel like I personally like that there are a lot of no port spots, so that makes it kiting better, so you can actually survive even though you are pressured. Before it was like if you're pressured, the enemy team was instantly killing you anyway and you had to respawn. I think that's what I like, but I totally agree. I think the less open gameplay map is actually not for everyone. I would definitely, I see that, yeah. I want to, before I give my final judgment, I want to get some more games. I don't want to judge them just from 10 minutes of gameplay. I think that's unfair. And I also want to get more meta development going and show how it's actually looking, and not only play one match and say, oh, the meta is boring. But I feel like it's always like there are a lot of support players in push just because the game really helped. It's a 5 versus 5 after all. So you really want to have a lot of supports going there, which is fine. You know, it's not like I just feel like if it's too bunkery, it feels boring as well. So I really hope that the debuff is not making it that we have no kills whatsoever. That was not the case in my first match, even though we had 4 supports in the whole match. But maybe they were just not that good. I don't know. We will see in the next few matches. I hope I can go in now. I will now kill this guy and then I will try it once again. No. Maybe? No. Doesn't look good. I thought they might have fixed it because there was some kind of pop-up that actually showed, but no. Yeah, not working. So unlucky. Okay. Yeah. 402 item luck right now, love it. Yeah, I think the cool thing is it's very easy to get this plus 200 magic find. So if you have the account-wide 300 or over 300 that you get, and you have the 200 here, and the boosters you get at the cap very easily, but you can also do it actually if it's currently not the Greater Call of the Mist, you actually can use the magic find as well. And Silver Waste, for example, you get a very easy free buff as well. So there are ways to actually get the magic find without this boost up to the maximum, but now it's obviously very easy to go. And you will notice it definitely in the item drops, I would say. So magic find really helps, especially if you need more ascended stuff. This is definitely the way to go. Yeah, it's not working. At least not for me. Maybe someone else gets in, but I don't. Press it several times? Maybe. I mean, I can try, but I'm not sure if that helps, because that often for me just makes it... No, I pressed it way too often. Maybe my browser will know. I don't get in the queue, even with pressing a lot of times. I think the servers are just broken. I don't know. Doesn't matter how often I press. Thanks for the raid, Savari Reaper. Hope you had a nice stream. You see, that's what you get if you press a lot of times. I'm currently trying to get into push, but apparently the PvP server or whatever is the problem is not working. So we can't get into push, and don't try to press a lot of times, otherwise your screen will go dark. Welcome, welcome. Hit it harder? No, I think that's not how it works. I think then maybe my whole game will crash if I press it even harder. I get instantly at, I think it was 5 after 9 my time. So 1 hour ago, I got one match. Instantly got the pop, get into one match, played for 10 minutes, got to timer, won the match, and got out and couldn't queue up. So they made something that worked, but only for a few people, and it was also not consistent, so it changed after a while. I don't get it. I think maybe they have the servers are just can't handle the amount of people, but typically that's not an ANET problem. Typically they have very good servers, so I don't know what the problem is actually. Maybe they broke the API. I really don't know what the problem is. But I feel like I'm not sure if I can get in today. I really try, but one was apparently too much already, so I can't play more. The interesting thing is it doesn't say my rating even though I won a match. So I think it might have some problem with the queuing system, with the matchmaking. Maybe they made something different there. I don't know. Maybe praise Choco? If that would help, I guess. Let's play some World vs. World. Maybe we get some news on that. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Sulari Reaper. Really appreciate it. So, if you have any questions, as always, let me know. I'm always happy to answer. And also debate stuff. But sadly, I wanted to do a PvP push tier list, but that's just not gonna happen right now. I can't really tell you the best meta because I can't really research it, obviously, when I can't get into the match. So that's a bad thing. But I would expect my top picks would probably become some kind of AoE damage dealers. And of course, supporters like Firebrand, Spellbreaker, Core Warrior, Tempest, of course. Those would be my top picks, Chronomancer, if you can play it. But Sage Tempest, I think, might be a good support as well. But overall, I feel like I have to test it more to see actually how well they are doing in a specific matchup. Because oftentimes I feel like, yes, I have some idea what might be a very good pick. But a lot of times you have to try out a build in practice. If it doesn't work, you know, sometimes a build on paper works really well. And then you try it and then it just falls apart. Yeah. No, it's fine. We will see it later. Hopefully someone will post it when there's some news on there. Let's debate what is better, Shoelace or Velcro. I actually can't give you any advice on that. I'm sorry. Matt died for a moment. Could you repeat? By the way, can we queue for PvP without going to an island? No. It's currently we can't go. Oh, we get a nice one-on-one against Mirage. I think that's not a matchup you want to take here, my friend. Interesting. It's a Condi, Infinite Horizon, X Staff Mirage. That might be a longer matchup, I have to be honest. But I think I can win it. It's a little bit annoying, I have to be honest. All the illusions spamming the attacks on me. Oh, the confusion. I hate it when the confusion is killing me. Nice. Dodge. Oh, come on. Just stop running away. Welcome, Snowdrop. Welcome, welcome. There we go. Nice, we got the pot stomp as well. I like it. What does the bee pet do? I have heard Soul Beast is meta because of it in PvP. Spear Herald is still decent. I will show the bee pet in a second if you want. So the bee pet is very good because it has apparently a Bull's Charge. That's the insane part. The bee pet gives you Bull's Charge from Warrior and that's absolutely broken. So Bull's Charge is one of the best, if not the best utility skill on Warrior in PvP. And they just thought, nah, let's give Ranger the really good skill as well. That's it. That's why it's so broken. Is Spear Herald still good in PvP? I would say it's still good, but it's not even close to being as broken as it was before. It's still perfectly playable, but it's way less tanky, way less DPS. So I would say it's now A to B tier in terms of in Conquest. I'm not sure. I have to test it myself if it's really good in competitive in push right now, but I feel like it's not that good anymore. Yeah. And the P-pad also applies a lot of condis, which is obviously really annoying as well, especially if you play, for example, a condi soul beast, so you can make use out of the stun, and you apply a lot of condis, which can then kill the enemy. So overall, the pet is just overperforming. It's straight up overperforming. I think it's fair to have a nice condi pet, but giving a condi pet an absolutely broken CC skill as well sounds like a bad choice. And in general, I think even if it wouldn't have the condis, a broken CC skill is not something that you want to see on a ranger, because rangers are already quite good when it comes to CC, and warrior has this as the most broken CC, and now ranger just suddenly gets it the same attack for no apparent reason. So I think they definitely have to nerf the pet. I think it's nice that we get new pets, but I feel like having broken pets in the game is not fun. Yeah. So I can show you. Let me get the tick. There we go. There we go. Ranger. So what does the pet do? There's the B-pad. There's the B-pad. And the B-pad applies slow. Just that's the beast attack. It's really annoying. It is a pool that applies slow damage and cripple. It's already quite annoying. Then you get some damage, and this is the attack that I meant. Bumble, charge at your enemy, knocking them down. 3 seconds of knockdown, 900 range. It's not an evade, but still, it does a lot of just CC, and that's really annoying. And then you have there the poison that hits 4 times, and it's also really annoying on the Condi Ranger, obviously. And if you play a Soul Beast, do I have a Soul Beast here? No. If you play a Soul Beast, right? Soul Beast with the B, there we go. Yeah, Ranger is really good right now because of the B-pad. I think the best build in Conquest right now as a duelist, at least, is Condi Ranger. Condi Soul Beast is extremely strong. So as the B, you get the knockdown, and there you have the evade. It's absolutely insane. It's like the same, it's like a Bull's Charge. It has less range, 600, but still, it's an evade, it's a 3-second knockdown. It's amazing. It's like you get just a warrior skill by equipping this pet. Then you have the crazy good poison application, and you get the cry that you get from all the beast pets that are of the same stats. So it's a really good pet, especially for Condi Ranger. But even on a power build, because of this really, really strong knockdown, you have a lot of just setup with this skill. You know, it's like an evade that you can engage on the enemy, and then you can deal all your damaging attacks after that. It's really annoying. It's Bull's Charge is already one of the hardest skills that if it hits to actually deal with, and giving it to Ranger is, in my opinion, not a good choice. I think they should make it, just nerf it, yeah. I saw 13 stacks of poison from Condi B Soul Beast. Yeah, it's crazy. I was actually playing a build specifically crafted in Conquest, right? Let's say a few days ago, I think. Yeah, I played, I think, Dagger Catalyst with a lot of cleanses, actually just to specifically deal with Condi Soul Beast. Then a Condi Soul Beast applied, I think, 3 conditions to me, and I couldn't cleanse the poison before I died, even though I had all my cleanses ready. It took me, I think, 1 or 2 ticks and I was down. So many poison stacks got applied in a very short amount of time. The poison Soul Beast is insane right now. It's absolutely crazy because of this pet. And of course, Poison Soul Beast was already played before, and now it's really crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, glad you enjoyed, Diego. Glad you enjoyed. I think it's okay. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really nice to have pets that are worthwhile using, especially new ones. But I feel like they should not make them absolutely broken. Because I think already the Bumble, if the pet had only the Bumble and didn't really get anything crazy other stuff, then I think it would be good. But giving it the Bumble, giving us the poison access on a very, very useful Condi pet already is insane. So if you hit this skill into this skill, it's quite likely that your enemy will die after that because you have so many vulnerability and bleeding and poison on them. It's crazy. This the synergy of this pet is really, really high. Which is obviously, I like stuff that has some kind of smart decision how it actually is designed. But I feel like in a lot of situations, stuff that is overpowered on paper, you shouldn't get into the game. already, because that's especially in PvP, that feels really frustrating. I don't know. The same, speaking of frustrating, goes for Conquest. Push rather. I can't get in. So sad. I really wanted to play some Conquest, not some Conquest again, sorry. I wanted to play some Push to make some tier list about it, but no. ArenaNet didn't want to play some Push. Let's be honest, so many classes have a lot of abilities, which are also broken. Catalyst, Guardian, Necromancer, Thieves. What to say when 5 players can't kill Catalyst? I agree. I totally agree. I'm not saying anything against that net. I think the balancing in Guild Wars 2 is really skewed in a lot of ways, because a lot of classes, like Catalyst right now, but also, for example, when Willbender was absolutely broken, it's just always the best meta pick is in my opinion, because they have really obnoxious skills. So the Willbender Spear is the best example. It is a hybrid spear that does damage, heals, cleanses condis, has a lot of CC or some CC, and provides boons. Seems quite good for a weapon. And this is just a lot of new stuff that gets added to the game is absolutely broken. It's just straight up so. And they really have to be careful that they not always increase the power creep and make old stuff just not working anymore. Yeah. And Engineer is suffering, exactly. Engineer is suffering because it's not really in the best classes that get all the good buffs all the time or the new stuff. And then it's just left behind, even though the builds didn't get nerfed at all. It's just the new stuff gets more broken. And that's a big problem. What exactly should I be aware of when playing against the Spellbreaker? So Spellbreaker, I can show it to you because I can't get in the queue anyway. So as a Spellbreaker, there are 2 things that are really important to look out. So if you play a Spellbreaker, then you would have, typically the Spellbreaker always has Burst Charge, which is the bumble from the bee just on Warrior. This is a really good skill. It evades and it knocks you down if it hits you for 3 seconds. So don't get hit by this. So if a warrior charges like this, dodge this. Dodge this. This is the most important part, or avoid it. If you can even jump this for weird reasons, but you can also just walk behind something or make it blinded, whatever. Just avoid it. This is really important. This is the first really important thing. And the second thing is dodge the F1s. So, or all the F skills. So if the enemy warrior uses F skills, they because of the mage band tether, they will create a tether to you, and that means that they get might, you will get revealed, and when you move out of a range, you will get pulled to them and they can kill you. So don't get hit by the F1s. The F1s are the best thing to dodge. But of course, you can also dodge the full counter. It's really important, because if you hit with an attack in the full counter, they get a block, and they deal a counter attack that will also trigger the mage band tether. So the best thing to do, if you can a skilled player, is if the full counter comes up, just stop attacking, because then the full counter doesn't trigger if there are no allies attacking, and you actually deny their attack, and they don't get the mage band tether, they don't get the block, and they are just useless. Yeah, that's I hope that helps. Balancing in every MMO is mission impossible. Devs can't make it work in any PvP content. It's a mess in WoW as well. Yeah, I think balancing is just impossible, but you should at least try to make it as good as you can get it. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Arthur. Thanks. I think I think I want to give them some credit. I think the balancing has been getting somewhat better in PvE in Guild Wars 2. I think the PvE balancing is quite good. But in PvP, I feel like they have to learn still a lot, which stuff they need to nerf and buff and make more changes, so that it's not only about the most broken stuff that nerf or gets buffed, but they should also change the very unfun builds to play against. So for example, I think Renegade with the spirits is really unfun to play against, because you have so many just not targetable things that are spamming in AoE around you. It's really bad. I don't like that. So it's not fun to play. It doesn't have a lot of counter play, so to say, and that should be addressed as well. But yeah, it's hard to play against OP builds when there are not many answers to it. Yeah, obviously that makes it OP, because there are not that many answers, if at all any. Yeah. So I should not attack when they started full counter and maintain medium range. Yeah, that's what I would say. So I can show you. I will charge some adrenaline here. So if I cast my full counter now, and then I have like a bit 1.5 seconds where you can't attack me, or you shouldn't attack me, because then I don't get any value from the full counter. Just wasted my attack. But if you attack me, then I get the block, I get some nice counter evasion, get some stun on you, get the mage band header. So really try to avoid that. And typically, if you can kite a spellbreaker, because they are typically playing some kind of melee aggressive build, sometimes they play with spear and have some range as well, but if you can kite them, you will win. And they always have some kind of trouble against conditions, so if you can overload them with conditions, they also have a big problem. And the last tip that I have for Spellbreaker is that the healing skill typically is Mending, which is a very, very easy to interrupt skill. It has 1 second cast, you glow blue, and you just raise your hands on this character. And if you interrupt the skill here, then it goes on a cooldown, and you can easily do that repeatedly when the warrior tries to cast it, and you will kill the warrior in no time, especially if you play a lot of condis, because that's one of the most important condi cleanses for them. I hope that helps. My analysis here. I don't know. It's so sad. I really wanted to play some push today. It's not gonna be happening, I guess. Yeah, it's quite typical apparently. That's the sad part. That something new comes out and then there is some kind of bug that makes it unplayable. I think that happens quite often. Not only to ANET, I think that happens to a lot of gaming companies, that there is some kind of problem. I just remember when there are big expansions on even big games, they often have server issues and they just crash all the time and that kind of stuff. At least ArenaNet doesn't have that problem. But sadly, we can't get into push, and I feel like that's somewhat of a server problem as well, I feel like. So the question we have here from YouTube is, are Scholar runes or Dragon Hunter runes better for PvE? For power builds? And the sad answer to that is, it depends. So some builds want to have more power because the power scaling on their weapons are better than having more ferocity. And some classes want to have, or some builds rather, want to have more ferocity. So it depends on the build. So if you're looking for a build, for a specific build, you have to name it to me and I can check it. But of course, you can also just look through my spreadsheet. In the YouTube description of the stream, you see a spreadsheet, and there in the spreadsheet there is every build guide that I have, and everything there should be up to date, or at least it's mentioned. And you can check it out there, what kind of rune you should use for this specific build. But it is really important that you understand it. But of course, it's not a big difference. It's like a small difference, but it's a noticeable difference. So if you want to optimize it, you should go for dependent on the build, which kind of power build you're using, which kind of class you're using, and then you choose correspondingly. What happened? I mean, sadly, we can't get into push. That's the sad part. I got into one match and that's about it. And I wanted to play the whole evening push, but it's sadly not working. So now I guess I hope they fix it soon. I guess I have to play it tomorrow then. Yeah. I'm quite a PvP player myself at Gist event. I mean, what did you do? Because I think that, to be honest, the rewards are really good. I think that's one of the best rewards for any event that was happening. So I think it's very worthwhile to get into, especially if you like PvP. But so they started event based on PvP and PvP broke. Yes, exactly. That's what happened. Very good summary. And apparently it's not only on my side, it's on a whole EU server, it's on an A as well. It's like everyone has the problem except a handful of people in the chat apparently have can queue still. But I can't, it's loading, it's making my screen dark if I press the compete button all the time. So I don't know, not good. Thanks for the follow, Skovsty, by the way. I've only won one match if it makes you feel better. I don't care. I really don't care. I would have wished that you won all the games. I'm just saying I'm sad. I wanted to play a bit as well. I'm not envious about you. It's just play and have fun. But I would really like to play and have some footage here to actually, or some research which kind of game and builds are worthwhile using. Yeah. My game crashed when I wanted to go to PvP. Oh no. That's not good. At least for me, it didn't crash. Guildies, multi-box accounts, private arena done in an hour. Very good. Yeah, for the people that don't want to play PvP, apparently that's a good choice. Yeah, I can see that. That push problem makes me far too angry, to be fair. Not like I especially planned my evenings around doing that and it ruined it. I am so close to simply ignoring all the content ever for a day or two. I think actually I was thinking about that when the next update comes out, because we had that in the last few weeks as well, or last updates as well, that there was some basic big bugs that I was just not engaging with the first on patch day. You know, like really following the rule of never play on patch day. I really thought about doing that and only stream on play on the second day, just to get the bug fixed that are currently happening. Maybe I will do that, yeah. Today I ran against ex-rival Berserker and was instantly getting annihilated as Harbinger. 2 X's hit 12k, rival hit 21k. Why on mage we can't switch weapon in combat? I think the problem is that's the balancing, how Arena thinks the balancing of Elementalist should be. So you don't really want to have more. I think the problem is Elementalist having more weapon skills is just, it already has that humans. That's the weapon swap there. And getting one shot on light armor classes like Harbinger, like Elementalist and stuff, that's just, Warrior is a meme build. If you get one shot by this, next time you probably know about it and you will play it safer and you will probably win, because this is a meme build. It will only kill you once typically, because then you know how to counteract it. But I can feel you if you didn't see it coming, that feels really bad. And it's obviously really sad that that is doable, but I feel like it's at the same time it's also quite fun that you can get a one-shot build going. They invest a lot of damage and sacrifice a lot of defenses for that. So if you know how to play against it, you actually can win it quite consistently. Hope that makes you a little bit happier, at least. I got into exactly one match where we lost in 3 minutes, best content ever. I mean, at least it was over fast, you know, and you can go in the next one if you didn't enjoy it. I feel like that has its advantages personally. I think having matches over very fast is something that I like. I don't want to have matches that take 10 minutes and then I still lose. Hope that makes sense. I really like your content. Yeah, glad you like it. I really try to keep pushing out more, of course. Don't worry. Yeah, 20k, 21k is quite a lot. I have to agree. This seems like a really crazy good number. So I guess this guy was really lucky to hit something like you, very squishy Harbinger, I guess. Yeah. Patch Day Gaming is Peak Guild was 2. I remember during POF launch, you couldn't get into the story instant at the Tomb of the Primeval Kings for about 7 hours. Met some people there that I still play with nowadays. Yeah, I mean, that at least you made some friends, you know. I think that's at least a good thing. But I definitely see this that sometimes, especially when in expansion launches and they just have a lot of bugs in there, it feels horrible. It feels horrible for sure. If I could get into any matches, that would be less of a problem. I agree. Playing one match and losing instantly seems like a bad first match and then the only match of the week. Yes, I agree. I'm currently playing Catalyst, that's correct. You can see that because of the F5 skill. No other Elementalist spec has an F5 skill. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know about the debuff mechanic because there is no guide. You know, you just go into the combat and just engage with push, and that's about it. And it's the same problem for Conquest. That's the same problem for every single end game mode in Guild Wars 2. It's not explained at all. It's like you get into it and someone else has to tell you, or you have to figure it out yourself, but it's not really, you know, written there quite clearly. And that's the same with the, how is it called? With the push debuff mechanic. It's like the push debuff is really important, that you understand how it works and that you counteract it, and that just makes sense. But it's nowhere written, you know? It's really sad. Just look quickly at forums. I didn't see many push complaints. Might have been looking in the wrong places. I mean, on Reddit, I saw quite some people that actually wrote something, but it doesn't mean that Arena is actually listening to them. This game really makes me buy all the DLCs separately if you want to jump in now, after years. All this cash convenient items. That's a huge ask from a new player, really. If you wait until you get a sale coming, then it's actually not that expensive. But yes, of course, the expansions are quite nice to have. I think all the expansions actually give you quite nice value. That is definitely for sure. Is Power Vindicator with Spear good in PvP? No, not really. Sadly, Spear got nerfed quite a bit and it was working really well on Herald. Vindicator with Spear as a power build is not the best option. You can make it work, don't get me wrong. But it's okay. That's an aggressive push, my friend. Got you. Can't wait to hear your take on push, Summer. Hope it gets fixed. Yeah, I really want to play it on stream, of course, and then give you my somewhat well-educated take on it. But right now, it doesn't look like I can play it today. So I will play it tomorrow, and then I'll give you my take. And not only that, but I will also give you some kind of guide and maybe a tier list, depending on how much is different from the normal PvP. So I hope I can do that. But right now, it's not looking like it's going to be today. Soto was worth it just to get the Weapon Master proficiency and then go to get additional class weapons. Yeah, I think Soto was actually, when it comes to the raw features that it brought, actually one of the best expansions. Not in terms of content, just in the feature. You get the legendary armor from open world. You get the weapons with Soto, so like staff or pistol on elementalist, staff on warrior, that kind of stuff. And you got the weapon proficiency so that they can use, for example, a hammer on a Tempest. I think that was a very nice, I don't know, addition to the game for sure. Do you play with the F1, F2 buttons or did you bind it separately? No, I actually use the F1, F2, F3, F4 actually. Only the F5 I use on my mouse keybind. Yeah. I've been watching your YouTube videos for quite some time. You seem like the most analytical streamer creator and that's very cool. I'm glad you like it. I mean, that's my style. I hope to continue like that and just push out more content for you. Yeah, glad you like it. So the thing is, what I want to mention here is, especially with you, the legend, I always have legendary gear on my characters because that's what I have on my characters. I don't have ascended gear anymore. I just use ascended. I actually don't use ascended anymore. So I only use legendary gear. But legendary gear, it doesn't matter. You can use ascended and have the same stats. Legendary is just a convenience. It's not changing anything. So don't worry if I showcase legendary gear only. That doesn't matter. You have to go for that one. Just use the stuff that you have. If it's exotic, most of the builds are actually fine in exotic as well. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Is there any chance you can make a solo build for any class on exotic gear? So I would say the new classes or new builds that I release are always put nowadays. So the last week I started and I will obviously do that the next few days or weeks as well. I will always put exotic links as well in the description. So I will not make a specific build guide about it. I just want to put a link to the build in the description where you can just open the window and see the website where the exotic version is. So that should satisfy you, I hope. Yeah. Yeah, casual PvP, obviously. Yeah, obviously, sometimes you have some really important breakpoints in terms of crit damage and that kind of stuff, and exotic is a little bit worse, but I think for most builds, exotic is decently doable, but sometimes you have to adjust the gear a bit, and then that's why I put the stuff in the description. So just check out the description. There is a link to the ascended version, the usual version, and the exotic version. Yes. Yeah, Reaper is really good. Really, really good in push. And you can still play push. It's actually insane that they didn't fix it and you can still play it. So apparently it's just, there is some issue, but only for big majority apparently. Crazy. I like Berserker as a fantasy concept. When HP goes down, low Berserk mode gets activated, but it's not the same in Guild Wars 2. Can you make a guide for Greatsword Berserker, which is viable in PvP? So, Greatsword Berserker in PvP, I would say it's playable, but it's more like a meme. It's like the 20k one-shot we had earlier, you know? This is more like the thing that you can make work. But especially in push, I would say this is a build that can have some crazy good montage moments where you one-shot 5 people at once. But the sustain on the sustained DPS as well is very low. That's the problem. But maybe I can make a build like that, and maybe we can try it on stream as well. Yeah. Do you play Celestial or Marauder on Dagger Catalyst in World vs. World? I play both. Currently I'm on Celestial because it's better in outnumbered situation. But in 1-on-1s I really like Marauder for more damage output. So both of them work very well. I will release a guide about it this week actually. So slight teaser here. Yeah. Welcome, C4, welcome. So, what do we do? I think we can't do push. Maybe we can? Oh my god! I can Q! That's insane. I got a match! It was fixed. Or at least for me. Even if you don't reach the breakpoint, you are an exotic anyway, so no one cares. Yeah, exactly. Actually insane. I got into a match. That's impossible. Oh my god, I have to play support now. Yeah. Thanks for the Prime C4. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. You waited a month for this. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Yeah. It's only a few builds where it can trip you up to use exotic instead of ascended. Yeah, I think for most builds it's actually not that much of a problem. So what do I play here? They don't have a support, do they? They have a support. I guess I just play support Tempest and show how it works. But I feel like we have a Thief, which is obviously not good in this game mode. We have a Reaper. I feel like we have too little damage to actually compete here or to hold the node. So I will try, but I feel like it's not very likely that we can actually make that work. Second thing, this is really annoying. The living heck out of me is the obvious that have the new maps season starts like at launch American time, since they obviously do not have any problems at all. But a few hours pass, evening crowd gets in. Who cares about you? I think I think the problem is they should maybe change it so that it's at 9 AM in their morning, so they have the whole day to fix it, and we would also get at least something. So they have 3 hours to fix a little bit of it. I think that would make sense. But I think that's just how they say they do it. They always prepare 3 hours or something in the morning, 4 hours, and then they release it and fix it after that for a while. That's apparently how they do it. I agree. For us in EU, it would actually be better to have it earlier. But what can I say? Okay, it's a staff support Tempest as well. I really have to play it. What the fuck? I didn't want to do that. No one saw that. Okay, our Virtuoso is actually one-shotting 2 people already. I like it. Nice, we got a kill here. But we have to support our teammate here. Nice, nice, that was a really good. No, I can't get that. Ooh. Maybe we can get the counter kill here. I feel like not, but we can try. Oh my god. Nice, we got the kill here. Nice, we killed 1 person versus 1, so that's about it, I guess. So we have to disengage here for a bit. It's really sad I can't really support a lot because my team doesn't really stand on the node a lot. Nice, get some cleave, get some cleave. Nice, nice, nice. This is a weird match, I have to be honest. This is a really weird match. Get some cleave, get some cleave, get some cleave. Ooh. Nice. I have to concentrate here a lot. My teammates, I try my best to keep them alive, but I feel like I'm pressured more than they are. Nice, I got the cliff. I wasn't sure if we actually got the rally here, so I was rather going for the cliff just to make sure. Feels like my teammates are really squishy. I tried to support them, but I feel like it's more like they get one shot. I have to be careful here a bit. This guy is really pushing it. I'm sorry for the pun. Nice, we got the res. It's a hammer. Okay. That's a crazy cook, I have to be honest. Hammer Revenant. Okay. I mean, we are getting there, but my teammates are really aggressively playing here, so we have to be a little bit careful. I can't get the res here. If you die on node, I can't get the res. Okay, they got the kill here on me. That's good enough because then I get the respawn. Yeah. I mean, they got it fixed, so at least now I can play it. Catalyst can 1v5, but it's not as good in PvP because it's quite squishy, so you might die in a match like this, so... Okay, they are all dead. What the fuck? Classical push moment. They just all stand in the node and instantly die when there's an engage coming. What is happening? I guess now we can push back. Is this the special PvP event? Yes, it is. It just launched a few hours ago, and now we can actually play it, apparently. Yeah, I mean, we had some other opinions, Roaming Spirit. Some people said the open field was better. I think I have to test it more because it's way harder to actually free cast now. So that's not for everyone, I guess. Kill this guy, please. Get some CC down, get some healing. Oh my god, this guy is so aggressive. Go out of the node, please. Holy shit. Had to go for the heal here. Oh my god, I think I can't save those guys. I had last time in the push season, I actually had a 3-man cliff. I'm not joking. I had a 3-man cliff. Can I go for that one? But they now did not lie on point. I think this is now we have to leave here. Yeah, I agree with Roaming Spirit. I'm just saying some people like the more open field approach, and now it's a little bit like it's a narrow tunnel. It's like the Gyla Devs type of style. But I agree. I personally like that at least there are a lot of more kite spots here. I really like that. They are all very hard pressured, so because of the push thingy. So if we can stand on there, I have to be careful. I got so many of them actually following me. Hope my team actually got something. No, they died. Nice, we got the counter kills. That's what we like. I think that actually might be the winning move, I have to be honest. Nice, we killed them and we staggered them, so we actually probably will come back from that quite nicely. Or what do I mean, come back? We will actually win the match from that. Because if you stagger the enemies, they have respawns after another, and then oftentimes they just run in by one by none, and then will die to it. It's actually insane that my team still holds 3 people on the node, even though they have all the debuff, because they all were there together. No, we can't get the glyph here. Nice, we get the counter kill again. Could have gone for the earth cliff here, but I wanted to just get... No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think the kiting thing is really important. I think the kiting is really important because now you can go kiting and go to no port spots, and you will be safe to get engaged on. I think that's really important. But I have to give the map a closer look next time when I'm in the pre-match, just to see how it works, how you can actually get up there, what you can do to kite. Yeah, my team is now doing the mistake, just running in one by one. Can't. Maybe I can get this dress. Good teleport. Last second, so that I can't get the rest. And our ally is dying on node. I feel like this is maybe we lose it now. My teammate is staggering them. Yeah, I don't know. She's not good. My teammates are too aggressively going in. But Staff Tempest is really good, I have to be honest. What is this? They are dying instantly because they're all standing on the point. Such a meme. People don't understand the mechanic with the push debuff. It's really, they don't get it. I really think that should be more clear, that it actually debuffs you if you stand on there too much. So you see it. If you you can win because of the cosmetics. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm just telling that we are at 91 and they are at 77, so we win if it goes to timer, but I feel like it could also go in either direction at this point. I think my team is not very smart either. So, team up into a lot of cleanse and a lot of CC. Get some heal on them. Oh my gosh, and now they're going down. Get some shocking aura. That's the best aura that we can get here. My Reaper is dead for sure. I can't help this guy. I mean, at this point, we just go to timer, I guess. Oh my gosh. All the teams I've been on are likely not wearing any unique cosmetics, like they are all fresh level 80 boost. I mean, if you have this setting turned on, Sochi, this setting here enabled competitive standard enemy models, then you will see it like that. Please get, they are really low now, please. They have all the debuff. It's so close, it's actually insane. But I like the new UI. I think the new UI is really helping a lot. I have the glyph up, so I can rest one more person. Gosh. It feels, I don't know, I feel like we're losing now. I have to get the self glyph here, so otherwise I will not be able to. Get the kill on this guy. "23 seconds. If they can hold it, we win. 20 seconds, but I feel like my teammates are way too low. I think they might die now. Oh, this is so close. Thanks, Antec, for the follow. Really appreciate it. Easy win. Easiest win of my life. What the fuck? Almost 750k healing. Push is so fun, but it's so weird. Sometimes it works very well, sometimes it doesn't. It's actually insane. Crazy. It was a fun match for sure. Yeah, but now it's too late. That's the sad part. Now it's too late. I have to go to bed now. That's the sad part. I will stream tomorrow again. So thanks all for watching. I had a lot of fun in the 2 matches that we played. And I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thanks for the follows and the sub. Really appreciate it. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. No, I have to sleep, Filthy. I really have to. See you tomorrow. We will do more pushing tomorrow. We will probably do the tier list tomorrow as well. So a lot of content coming up. Don't worry. Just not today. Have a good night. For my American friends, have a nice evening and see you around. Thanks for watching.